Good evening, everybody. It's Monday night. It's that time of night again, the beginning of the week, where this show goes absolutely mental. It's the Four Horsemen of the Toon. Good evening. This is the Toon Review. This is the Toon Review. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Four Horsemen of the Toon with myself, Petey Proudlook, and debuting tonight is Lee from Newcastle Fans TV, God help him, and eventually we have John. Good evening.
How are we all?
Hi, lads. How are you doing? You great?
Yeah, why were you so late?
I'll press the wrong button.
It started already. It really has.
I think there's two links, and I pressed the first one. I thought, how weird, man, that's wrong. And then I pressed the second one.
Well, no, I sent you the link on the Horseman one, and then I sent you the link privately. It was the same bloody link, man.
Yeah,
anyway,
the one, private.
Paul started off saying Joelinton is fit, and in the Newcastle squad for Friday's game against Leicester, a fan spokesman said, "This is devastating news." Paul says, yesterday Miggy was bloody useless. Yeah, we're going to come on to that. Glad to see John's malaria has cooled off. Must have been the Joelinton injection. Newcastle are on the trail of highly rated Huddersfield midfielder Lewis O'Brien, who could make a move this summer. And Tommy Jock. Nice, thanks. Guys, Lee, we'll start off with you. I mean, I watched your, the last word and stuff yesterday, and, there was people saying that Miggy's lost it. Miggy's not this player anymore. And, I'm starting to worry that he's not the player that maybe we thought he was. What's your take on Miggy?
I think he's wasted in his position, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
When he first signed, you thought, right, Rafa, he's got the three Spanish lingo and speaking players all up top. You think it's going to be great. Got rid of Perez, get rid of Rondon, and he's been moved around ever since, really, since Bruce's came in. He's been on the right-hand side. He's had a very short spell in the number 10. He's played on the left. I think his best position for me is the left or the number 10. But I was saying on the last word with forwards that Alan St-Maximin doesn't work well with Callum Wilson. Those two as a two don't work. That's for me, that's where Miggy, because Miggy will feed him. Whereas Alan St-Maximin wants the Hollywood, he'll go past 3-4 players, which can work, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Miggy's been wasted in that centre midfield of three. Put Matty in there next week, put him in for Leicester. Well,
for me, something's got to change. I mean, Peter, I haven't watched your play ratings video yesterday, unfortunately. I just haven't had time yet. I gather you didn't rate them very highly, though.
No, only ASM got the highest, and that was a 5 only. The rest were very low because it was simply very poor yesterday. The way, apart from ASM tried, who really tried in that game? Who could you say really tried in that game?
The effort wasn't there. I mean, John, we've been on about Shelby many times, and he still isn't performing. I mean, he's not going to be taken out. We know he's not. There's no way he's getting taken out of the lineup while he's captain. Steve Bruce doesn't have the balls to do it. Willock's due back in. So do you think Willock will start, and who will he start in place of?
Me personally, I'll drop Shelby, to be honest with you, but he's not going to drop him, is he? Let's be real about it.
No.
The fact is, he's their captain. It's not my captain, but it's their captain. But he doesn't do now at all, sort of thing. But Joe Wood's got to come in now on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Change formation to a 4-2-3-1 because we don't win playing 5 at the back because it ain't good enough for us at all. So how many times have we won in games where we played 5 at the back? Not very many. I think when we calculate this right, it's only one. When does Steve Bruce will ever learn that it's not working? Change it up, right? If it ain't working, change it up. But if you don't win games after you change it up, then we can't criticise him because he tried it and he changed it up. And until he changed things up, the player's going to be so hacked off, sort of thing. But yeah, Drew's got to come in the next game. He has to.
Do you know what it is? as strange as this is going to sound, right, I think we actually missed Joelinton yesterday. And I'll tell you why. Because we looked unbalanced. And when he's in the team, we seem a bit more balanced up front. And when he's not, I'm not saying he's a great player or anything like that. I'm just saying we missed him because we looked so unbalanced. And quite frankly, the team was all over the place from the start yesterday. Kendo says Colgate is proudly sponsoring this stream. Thanks very much for that, John. Layla says, I'm worried for us against Leicester City. They will bully us in the midfield. Tielemans and Didi and Maddison. Lee, I mean, the midfield's a mess at the minute, isn't it? It's just a complete mess.
Well, I mean, we're Leicester on Friday night. I mean, the thing is, though, people are saying we're safe. I'm still not fully there yet.
I'm on the fence and all.
Still one more point for me, because you look at Fulham's next 2 games, they're winnable games, Burnley and Southampton. And then we've got Leicester and Man City.
Yeah,
that could be 3 points. It could. And now Fulham haven't won many games. But going back to the original question, do you know what I would do? I'd take Miggy out, and I'll put Willikin for that position.
Aye, I agree. I don't think Steve Bruce is going to change the formation. I don't think he's going to change the tactics. Nothing like that. I think he's going to go with the same thing, and he's not going to change anything but a couple of players. And Miggy's got to be taken out for me. He hasn't performed for quite a while now, and it's becoming a worry to me because I've liked Miggy over the time he's been here, but when you look at his stats, they're not good. Like, they really aren't. I mean, 8 goals I think he scored and 3 assists in 3 years. It's nowhere near good enough. But we'll see. Annie's here. He says, need some cheering up after Big Sam disappointed me again. I take it West Brom have won, have they? Okay. Good evening, Thomas. Warren says, evening, lads. Hope you're all well. Can't wait for another good show tonight. Last week's was a blast. Not for John, it wasn't, but it was for the rest of us.
Can you see this week, John? John, can you see?
Yeah. No problems. That was tough for last week, but it's just like being knocked by Tyson Fury. But look, I'm back. Got the confidence on. Gonna knock them all 10. Revving to go, baby.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I really did think I was interviewing Frank Bruno last week. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it just, especially when you kept saying, know what I mean. And I'm like, God almighty, it is. It's him. Kevin says, for fuck's sake, it's mental comments coming in already, and it's not even time. Yes, I know. It's not even 8 o'clock. I know it's crazy. When I come on to prepare some of the stuff for the show, I'm already reading through loads of comments. Some of it quite filthy, to be honest. Joel says, hey, Paul, Baz, Peter, and John, hope you're good. Well, Baz is not here tonight. That's why Lee is deputising. I'm not sure Lee's going to be the same man when he leaves this show, but we'll see. Kendo says, live from the Premier Inn bathroom, where remorse is only 3 flushes away. Actually, we haven't heard the toilet go tonight, John, and you seem to be in a different place again.
Well, last week's the spare room. Derek's in the games room. Now it's downstairs.
That's fair enough. But it's nice.
Like MTV Cribs.
It is. I mean, the one in the Premier Inn the other week was the most funniest. I mean, I know you were at home, but it did look like a Premier Inn, and the fact that the toilet kept flushing. But then again, Barry's not on tonight, and there's no toilet flushing, so it's strange. It might not actually be you, John. We'll see. No Chippers tonight. I think he's at work. Yes, he is. So thank God for that. If anyone wants to know where Chippers works, he works at Ann Summers in the Metro Centre, posing as a mannequin on night shift in the window, putting on the beautiful lingerie. So good luck to Chippers again tonight. Kendo says, still waiting for PD's selfie with Joelinton. Has the laminate worn off already? No. Archer, well, we ended up getting lucky with Liverpool, and Bruce's back was always getting beat. Do us a favour and piss off. He's not a fan of Steve Bruce. So good evening, Andy. I'm hoping for some good stuff from you tonight. Chongled, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Saw Steve Bruce today in KFC drive-through, got 4 bags worth. That wouldn't surprise me either. So, Lee, who was your top Newcastle player yesterday?
Oh, Christ. Fucking hell. I mean, I didn't do our scoring the players video I don't do them for a reason.
Yeah.
I agree with Proudlock. I mean, nobody scored over a 5. So I'm struggling to think. I think ASM first half, I can't. I can't really say, to be honest. I think it's more who was the worst, not who was the best.
Do you think ASM is doing too much? He's trying to do too much on his own. He's not. Is he starting to look like one of these players who isn't a team player and he's trying to do everything on his own? And his final ball was absolutely shocking yesterday.
I think he's in it for himself, but I think he does like playing for us as well, because I think he gets my fan base as well. You see him on Twitter and baiting Sunderland fans, which is brilliant to see. Love all of that. I get your point, to some extent, but is he disciplined? So for what I mean by that, if we had to grind up a 1-0 win, could you rely on ASM to be disciplined for the team? No, you couldn't. You would get him off and you would chuck on, and now this is going to sound daft, but you chuck on a Jeff Hendrick or someone like that if you need to grind out that win. So discipline, no, because he hasn't got that, but he's a match winner and we don't have many. So you have to give him that license to go and do what you want, because we haven't got many match winners. We've only got Wilson, but even Wilson yesterday wasn't even fed. He was feeding off scraps. There was no in for him. Richie
that pissed
wasn't
me off in
on.
the first half. Almiron breaking away, and then you saw on the replay Wilson pointing where he wanted the ball to go to run onto it, and Miggy turned back. He turned backwards, and then he ended up losing the bloody ball. I mean, I don't know what the crack is with him at the minute. Kevin's our basically he's the A64 correspondent for the Four Horsemen show. Good old bank holiday weather, folks. Keep them caravanners off the A64. It's been pissing down in Filey. Well, it's lashing down here as well, to be fair. Brian says Conor McGregor getting paid $250 million for his next UFC pay-per-view fight. He said he wants to buy Man United. Would you trust him as an owner? John?
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't really think.
It's just publicity stunt for me. Like if it happens, you know what I mean. So
you kind of fund a club, man. He's got them. You may have the money to purchase something, but you've got to keep pumping it in, haven't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kevin says, great start, John. For fuck's sake, sausage fingers. Obviously talking about you pressing the wrong button. Peter, the first goal yesterday. El Neni getting his first goal in the Premier League for Arsenal. I mean, the defending was shocking. I mean, Matt Ritchie, first of all, pointed to Paul Dummett to watch Bellerin's run. Dummett fell asleep. It goes over the top. The ball comes in, and the two midfielders, Longstaff and Shelvey, miles apart, no coverage on the end of the box. And for me, I've seen it again 3 or 4 times today. Dubravka should have saved it.
He should have done, but I think you've got to question more the defending, as you mentioned. I think Sean Longstaff should be getting closer in on El Neni.
Yeah.
Because Arsenal fans, they do not rate El Neni as one of their top players.
No, they don't.
And to let him score a goal like that, I mean, crowd way, man.
It was shambles, but this. I mean, I'm not having a go at Dubravka. Well, I am in a way, but he's done this a couple of times. John, when he's diving for the ball and he's not. He seems like paper thin on his wrists for some reason. He can't keep the ball out the net.
I just don't know what's wrong with him at the minute. I've been positioning as well, sort of thing. He gets down quite late as well, if I'm honest with you, Sinat. But you touched on the Dubravka. His distribution is not very good at all, isn't it, really? A couple of times yesterday has been very, very poor. And I picked it up very, very quickly. We watch along, and you did as well. But he needs to fix it up very quickly. Shot stopping, fantastic. But at the end of the day, he needs to work on his distribution as well, because it's been a bit of a letdown for him, do you know what I mean? So he needs to work it out. But he should have, like you said, he should have saved that yesterday. He could have done a lot.
I don't like this playing out from the back, mate. I don't think we've got the team to do it. Trull said, John, you were late due to Joelinton not being able to pull out. Kendo says, can't blame John for pressing the wrong button. His eyes are still crusted up from last week. Me. Billy says he's our art correspondent, John Sinclair from the Tate Modern. Layla says John clicking the wrong button to check if Joelinton is okay. And Kevin says good evening, Lee. Good luck, mate. Lee, the second goal, Mr. Aubameyang, who just loves a goal against Newcastle United. What did you make of the second goal?
Two things for me. Murphy's too narrow.
Yeah.
We went back to a 4. He's too tucked in. Goes out wide to Martinelli. Fantastic delivery. Can't deny that. Brilliant delivery into the box.
Yeah, it was.
The communication from Clark, and Clark's been, you talk about Almiron, Clark's been off form for a good few weeks now, and it's very surprising from him because he's been steady Eddie ever since he's came into the club. And there were some doubts about him, or he's coming in from Villa, he's error prone, and he hasn't been that way. But it's been creeping into his game the last couple of months. Him and Dummett, there's no communication. Great stretch out by Aubameyang, loves a goal against us. So we just give everybody their first goals, don't we? We've done it with El Neni, we've done it with Aubameyang earlier this season. As soon as they score the second one, it's game over because we cannot score goals.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal had the reserves out yesterday, which pissed me off even more. The fact that we just let them. I mean, the writing was on the wall. First 5 minutes, we just gave them the ball and said, "Right, you come against us." Against an Arsenal side who was probably the worst squad I've seen at an Arsenal football club for many, many years. Many years. Luke says, "Good evening, lads." Dave says, "Good evening, Lee. Good luck." Andy said, "Lee has said a sentence and is already better than Barry."
Cheers, Andy. Tenner's in the post.
Yeah, Andy's Baz's mate, remember? So I think he's just getting a sly digging on his mate there. Layla said, and Peter told me Almiron is better than Trossard. No chance. Peter, go on. Do you want to respond to that?
Well, the thing is, they're two similar players. Almiron's more of a 10, but Trossard's more of a winger.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Trossard's in the Belgium squad, though. Almiron wouldn't get in.
I just... You what, John?
He's got better technical ability than Almiron anyway. Trossard, I mean, he's got terrific skill.
I'm just not sure Almiron's the player that certainly I thought he was going to be. I think he's been here 3 years now, and he just seems to be struggling. The more time goes on, he just doesn't get involved in the game in the right way anymore. I mean, that's one I mentioned in the first half when he just drove and then Wilson just wanted playing in and he turns backwards. I mean, I don't know what that is with everybody, but I said yesterday on my reaction show that we are like a rugby team. We have to pass backwards to go forwards and it doesn't work. And teams are just picking us off every single time. Billy says Miggy has been in more positions than John and Joelinton. Kendo says evening, Lee. Joe says hi again, Dave. It's been a while. I believe you were both watching Steve Ray's show. Anthony says, why don't we play 4-2-3-1? No idea, because we seem to have the players for it, but not the manager. Yeah. Good to see Lee on the show. John clicked the wrong tab as Joelinton is on the next tab talking dirty. And Layla says, let's try Wilson and Carroll together. I don't think we're going to see Andy Carroll again, to be honest. I really don't. I think, if he didn't come on yesterday, he's not going to come on at all, John.
Nah, I think he's done. I think he's done at Newcastle, let's be honest with you, you know what I mean? But it's a shame. I mean, he's injury prone, but I would have loved to see him play, to see what he does with Wilson for the 90 minutes or so. But listen, I totally agree with you. I mean, if he's going to be in this guy's plans, then he'd be in the team. But I can't see him in Newcastle again.
Yeah, we just don't get we don't get forward enough as it is anyway. Never mind playing two strikers. We don't get the ball to them in the first place.
Exactly.
Jules said yesterday was Joelinton's best match. Probably because he was on the bench. Liam says, I've spoken to fans who said they'll spend their money at local non-league teams next season. I'm one of them. Thoughts? Well, I mean, I follow a lot of the non-league stuff up here, Darlington, Spennymoor. Durham to a certain advantage, but they're playing horrifically lately before the lockdown again. They've struggled since they lost the ground. It's non-league football. I mean, it proved in that final today. I mean, I don't know which one, if any has watched the Hebben concert game. Lee, I did see you tweet out, so you saw it, but it was. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed that game, and I haven't been able to sit there and watch Newcastle and say I have the same feeling.
Yeah, it was good advert for non-league and Northeast football. Competitive, and I like the rivalry. A lot of, obviously, there was twin brothers playing against each other. There was a little bit of bite in it as well, and a couple of tackles, and they just got up and got on with it. There's none of that fanning around on the floor. They were playing for pride as well, which I like, playing for the badge for the hometowns.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was a neutral. I didn't mind who whether, because I'm splitting between both of them. But it's a great Well, you're not far off me actually right now because I'm in Stanley at the minute. So
just literally 5 minutes up the road.
Yeah, because I'm on the last.
I'm from Stanley originally. I was born in Shotley Bridge. And I lived in
small world.
My dad was a policeman. He started out at Anfield Plain. So that's where I lived for most of my younger life. And then I moved down to Durham when he got shifted down to headquarters. So it is a very small world.
He's living in Black Hills. Oh, you know, that's Black Hills not far from Shotley Bridge.
Yeah.
So there's
and I know where Peter lives as well, and know exactly which street and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, he does.
Wow.
I've got no idea where Proudlock lives, to be honest. I guess I'll find out when we start going to some non-league games and we start meeting up again and getting some vlogs going.
I'll tell you what, and Peter, I'll say this: the getting close to the action for non-league and feeling part of a community, knowing you're supporting that team and that community, putting your money, you feel like. Whereas you go to the ground, your money's not valued. But if you go to a non-league ground, I love that feeling that I've helped maybe £7, £8, but I've given that club £7 or £8 that they desperately need. I love that.
Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. I was like that when Darlington, when they would drop right down the leagues. Because I used to go to Freedoms a lot with some friends as a kid. Early teens and that growing up, and when Newcastle weren't playing, I used to go down there, and when Gabbiadini and that played for them, and it was great times. They used to have the old little shed end where all the Rajis went. They had a lovely main stand, and then that's all. George Reynolds came along and decided to build a bloody massive arena, which Darlington were never going to fill in a million years. Do you know what
that's been used for at the minute?
Go on.
COVID, because Wallace has got one, hasn't you?
Aye.
She's got one next week along there.
Aye. It's a shame because it's a lovely stadium, and I remember going down there when we played Darlington in a friendly. All that Sammy Amiobi malarkey and stuff. So it was a crazy game, but and now they are going into a new stadium soon as well, which is good. But they're playing at something Meadows. I can't remember. I keep forgetting it. But you're right what you say. When you go to these games, it's like you start to get to know everybody who goes, and it's just like a good atmosphere. You start going to a few little away games, and and I feel like the non-league teams have missed out big time during COVID, and they need repairing. Really, they need helping out more than anybody. Liam says if there's no takeover, we'll get relegated next season and become another Nottingham Forest. Archer says Steve Bruce asks Joelinton, what's that sound? It's you, Gaffer, playing with Mike Ashley's peacock. Fair enough. Luke says, I don't know what was worse, yesterday's performance or the Line of Duty finale. Don't get me started on Line of Duty, because I was absolutely raging after that last night. I cannot believe Line of Duty ended in such a shambolic way, and they have to do another series. They just have to, because that was just ridiculous. I mean, somebody like a sort of soft little brummy like Buckles as this main man, I'm just not having it. But hey ho, I don't know if any of you watch Line of Duty, but I was foaming.
Yeah, it was a bit like when you watch Game of Thrones and that finale there with Daenerys. I won't put any spoilers out, but I felt like, really, is that it?
Yeah,
you were expecting something big to happen, weren't you?
Well, the only finale I've ever liked is Breaking Bad, to be honest. I thought that ended nicely, but that was just terrible. Andrew says, evening lads, you all right? Lee, saw your show for the first time today. Brilliant. Glad to see you guys working together. Yeah, well, why not? You know what I mean? It's we're on the same. We're all Newcastle fans at the end of the day, although this tends to sort of drift away from being a football show after a while anyway. Kevin said we keep going on about Shelvey. He's been shite all season. I think he's given Steve Bruce soapy finger in the showers when everyone's gone home. Agreed, Joelinton was a miss, but John Joe, for fuck's sake. Lee, what's your opinions of Shelvey?
Sell him.
Sell
him. I think he's 29 now. I don't think you're going to make money on him because we bought him off for 12 million. I don't think is he worth more than that now? No.
Well, I mean, it depends. Ask John, because John tends to overvalue our players quite a lot.
No, he's not. He's not. If a big comes in, the problem that we've got is that you've got to secure the long staff. They've only got 12 months at the end of the season. Yeah. They're more important than John Joe Shelvey at the minute. So for me, priority is those two lads. Yeah.
David says, is Joelinton under John's desk giving him a nosh? Oh, dear me.
Oh.
And here we go. Joan 6, greetings from Catalonia. Go Newcastle. Hope you're well out there, Joan. Anthony says, West Brom drew 1-1. Annie says, no, they drew. Needed them to win, Paul. No, we don't. We really don't want West Brom to win, Annie. So, Layla says, how much is Miggy worth on current form now? There's a question, Peter. If you look at Miggy for the last, if you value him on the last 10 games,
I think
what is it?
You're looking at less than 10 million by the look of it, aren't you? I mean, what has happened? Well, again, is it the way we're playing? I mean, why is he playing in a centre midfield role? Why not just play him in front of the two midfielders if we're playing this formation?
Yeah.
But
it makes yeah.
You wonder, is the Premier League too big for him?
Yeah. Well, I've thought that. I mean, you know, he's very slight in size, isn't he? And he's very easy to bully on the ball. But you know, when I've seen him play for like Paraguay, he's magic. He just really is magic, and I just don't understand it. MB7 says Chinese Frank Bruno. Not tonight. He's all better tonight. He's frightened fit. Billy says, John, oh God almighty. John went to see Joelinton in the hospital after a sex game went wrong, and Joe ended up with the Hoover up his arse. When John asked the doctor how John was, he was told Joelinton was picking up nicely. Oh, God almighty. Kevin says, well, if the macerator or toilet sounds are not going, it must be Buzzer. Well, yeah, it's very, very suspicious that actually, because he sits near his kitchen, and I have a feeling it is something to do with Barry. John, you'll have to take that up with him, because everybody's thinking it's Joelinton at your house picking all your used condoms up, but obviously it's not. Layla said, I want Newcastle to sign by Diagne. He's a quality striker. I'm not sure about him. I'm really not. And Andrew says Layla is going to Ibrox. Yeah, send him off to Rangers. That's fine. And here comes Judy. Joelinton said no tongues. When they were kissing, John said, I'm not. That's me having a poo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
oh
Layla says predictions for Arsenal versus Villarreal, and if Arsenal get knocked out, should Arteta be sacked? 10th in the Premier League, is it acceptable? Lee, do you think Arsenal will beat Villarreal?
I think they will, actually. Some people didn't. I think they could do 1-0. Be interesting, though, because whoever wins the Europa League could take the 4th place spot off someone in the league. Could you imagine it?
It could be Leicester. It could even be Chelsea, which would be Chelsea. That would cause some shit. I
think it causes headaches if Chelsea go on and win the Champions League, because they go back in automatically.
They've got a chance of winning that, haven't they?
Yeah, so it's like they could take 3rd and 4th off them.
Oh,
madman!
Oh, madness! Absolute madness!
Yeah, well, that's how the league tends to work. It's all over the place. Steve Bruce, shit manager, shit landlord. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, seen the stories of that. John, the photo on the wall, why does it look like an explosion of joy by Joe?
What is it?
Yeah, what the hell is it?
It's not mine, it's me, man. It's only a flower, really. It's not special.
Okay.
It's a flower for Joelinton.
Yeah. Kendo says it was an awful game. I saw more football at Old Trafford. Oh, God, I mean, that was absolutely bloody bonkers. We'll come on to that a bit later, actually. ASM has nobody on his wavelength, so goes the Lone Ranger. Maybe so. Andrew says, would you keep faith with ASM or put a more hardworking, no-nonsense player like Matty? You can't replace ASM with Matty. They're just two different players, full stop.
Two different.
Yeah, Matty isn't in the same...
Nah,
he's not in the same league as ASM. Matthew says, Lee is looking like a warm, snuggly bear tonight. He always does. Yeah. Well, does your head get cold quite easy, does it?
Oh, I've got a skinhead. I went to where did we go before? Joe, some Italians in Sunnyside, and honestly, I was in the back of the gazebo place, and I was like this.
Jesus Christ, you're brave going out on a day like this, aren't you?
Well, yeah, getting out, man. I'm waiting for May 17th, man, to get just normal life.
Did you say 17th there?
May 17th, literally, 2 weeks away?
I thought you said you were back to 17-year-old. I was going to say, I was like, you pulling.
No, I've got a few stories to tell if I was 17.
Haven't we all? I think Bruce's tactics is to go through ASM because he doesn't know how to set up the team to play to everyone's strengths. I mean, that's been basically obvious for a long, long time now. Moving on to this, which was Fabian Scher's ridiculous tackle on Martinelli. Peter, what's your thoughts on that one?
I think it is a sending off, I must say. I've seen a lot of tackles where people come for a hide and the referee has no choice, or he immediately pulls a straight red card out.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it looked very reckless indeed. And you're thinking, why did he go and do that? I heard we're trying to possibly appeal for it. Even Dermot Gallagher said on the Sky Sports Ref Watch, he said he thought that Fabian Scher was a bit unlucky to be sent off. But in my opinion, I think it is a sending off.
I mean, do you know what? I mean, it could have easily been the other way. It could have been a yellow, right? But
it could have been.
He shouldn't have been making that challenge.
No.
Why does he not just let Martinelli receive the ball, stand him up?
Because you're not going to win the ball going from behind like that. No chance.
I mean, I've heard lots of people say today that Scher doesn't want to be here anymore. He got himself sent off deliberately, so he comes back for the last game, and then obviously he's got the Euros. Now, I have heard that there's something in his contract, is this contract that he's supposedly signed on this 4-year deal, that inside the contract is an agreement that if he has a good Euros and somebody comes in for him, Newcastle will let him go on a free. Now, that seems bizarre, but it just seems completely Newcastle United.
I just don't. I think that's very bizarre. I mean, they could have tied him down to another year's contract anyway, and then hopefully a good season in the Euros, then you can make some money. But I just don't get it at all. It's almost like a gentleman's agreement. Liz, if that's a great tournament for Switzerland, it goes on a free. It doesn't work. Whose decision is this, man?
I mean, let's face it. Who does the contracts at Newcastle? You know, it's blatantly obvious that everything is just, you know, well, we'll sign you, but we'll let you go if you have a good Euros. Crocker shit.
Get out.
Yeah. Andy says, Judy, I need to thank you. I lost a stone last week. It was coming out like potato water towards the end. Yeah, Judy was on fire last week, and I have a feeling she's just warming up this week. Wood just won $2,000 on RuneScape. Get in. I have no idea what that is. Anybody know? No. Kendall, would you take Glazer over Ashley? Flipping hell. You know what it is? Glazers have pumped. If you look at Man United signings, they've spent more than Man City in the last few years. I was just looking at a comparison today, and they've spent more than Man City. So, you know, I know Man City and I know the Glazers went behind the back and everything for this European Super League, right? But, you know, let's be honest. They've pumped the money in. And it's just maybe that the manager hasn't been good enough, or some of the players they've signed aren't good enough. But these Man United fans, they just don't know the ball sometimes, in my opinion. Lee, what do you reckon?
The worst case scenario, in it. The worst of two evils, is that saying, in it? Glazers. Yeah. I don't like Americans being involved in our game, in terms of ownership, because you've seen it with the NFL. They're trying to push it to go that way. It's not a franchise. It's not. We've got a pyramid that goes down. We've just been talking about non-league 10 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. You have to protect that. That's the life and soul of communities. Mm-hmm. And if they were to disappear, where's the money going to filter down the leagues to the likes of our local northeast clubs? Like Sunderland will probably need the money because, you know, League One. Darlington, Hartlepool, Gateshead, they all need the money because the Toon are lucky because they've got TV money, whereas these clubs haven't. And these American owners that are coming in want to take it a different way. It's not on, and I hate to say it, I'd have Ashley over the Glazers.
Yeah,
that tells you something.
Yeah, I know. Joel says, if the team press as good as John does Joelinton, we would have won 10-0. Tom says, John, have you been on a nice romantic date this weekend with Joelinton? You're looking smart.
Well, I'm still single, so I mean, at the end of the day, I'm on the lookout, really. So we just got to really see what happens on that. But it's got to be for the right reasons.
You put yourself out there, son. Get out there. You know, everybody. John's announcing he's single. You know, all the ladies on here. He is a man of passion and pride. Loves his toothpaste. Loves his Optrex. Loves his shoe polish. The man he's got a ribbed jumper, just like a massive size condom. I tell you what, he's the man for you. He really is. He is the main man. Michael says MTV Cribs John edition will be from his red room next week, where he has Joelinton chained to the wall with an apple in his mouth. Judy says to get over the fear of playing against the big clubs and the horror of relegation, Brucey is showing the club a photo of Gemma Collins' piss flaps.
Oh, Christ.
Wow! Wow! Holy cow! Andrew says Carroll would have ruined the Arsenal defence yesterday. Really think that. Andrew has some very strange opinions sometimes, but we couldn't get the ball to him. Simple as that. You know, it was no point having them on the pitch if we're not going to get the ball up there. One chance we had yesterday, one shot, which was a kind of deflected miss kick by ASM, which obviously Matt Ryan touched over the bar. But if we look at the league table, this is the bottom of the league at the minute. Now, Lee, you mentioned it before that, you know, you're not 100% certain on safety yet, and neither am I, because Fulham have got Burnley and Southampton up next. Now, Burnley, depending on what happens tonight, could be safe and sound. I think they are anyway, to be honest.
So far in that game, it's 1-0 to Burnley against West Ham.
Well, there you go. Burnley are winning. So that'll be them out of it. So they'll have, you know, Fulham have got more to play for. And then they play Southampton, who are, in my opinion, safe as well, just by that extra point. I think they've got it in the bag. So, you know, if Fulham were to win these two games, now, yes, Fulham have very rarely won 2 games in a row. They're very rarely threatened to win games on the trot, but they've done it before a few seasons ago, and they can easily do it again. And it's just typical of Newcastle if this was to happen. How would you feel, Lee, going into that last game at Fulham if we needed to win?
Yeah. The thing is, though, Fulham have got the same goal difference as us. So if they win their next 2 games, they'll improve their goal difference as well. I can see them winning those 2 games, and we've got Leicester and Man City, and hopefully Manchester City have won the league by then, so they can play the best we can hope is the kids or the reserves. I mean, I think so. We'll still get a hound in mind, but
Guardiola won't accept anything other than a win, does he? Even if they've won the league, he doesn't accept anything. I
could see Aguero having his hello, goodbye, I'm off, and banging a hat-trick against her. I could see that happening. Yeah. I could see that getting down to 3 points, and then we going into Sheffield United, and it could be the case where we're skimping and scraping for a point against Sheffield United just to get us safe. Yeah. So we've got that 4-point gap. Didn't want to get in at the end of the season thinking, right, we'll have to get a positive result, whether it's a draw or worst case scenario win. I don't think it'll be a win, but I wouldn't want to go into Craven Cottage when there's fans in there as well, needing a point. I mean, a lot of people at NFTV, people think we're safe. I think I'm the only one that's saying we're not. Just one more point. I think one more, then I'll be happy. Yeah, I will as well. I just think I think if obviously Fulham don't beat Burnley, I think we're safe. Simple as that. I'll be a lot more relaxed after that. But until then, I just think, you know, let's not count our chickens yet, because it's Newcastle United. We know that things can happen with this club, and not for the good either. Kendo says John's running out of rooms. It will be the sex dungeon next week. Tom says, lads, have you noticed that Dubravka has been struggling to kick the ball up the field recently in games? Yeah, we spoke about that before. Whether he's carrying a little injury, I don't know. But Liam says, reason why Joelinton didn't play is because John gave him a cream pie. Brian says, I'm sure I saw John go into Ann Summers. Shane Metroland is gone. Irfan says, Lee, God help you on this show. Hey, we've had a very tentative 40 minutes here. We've spoke mostly about football. So, you know, I think Lee's brought an air of calm to this show, actually. But we'll see. There's plenty of time left. Andrew says, I think Dubravka is injured. I played Darlow against Leicester. No, not for me. No. Just like Brentford had their reserves against us. Yeah. Paul Smith says, all right, lads, Leeds fan, and I have said all along you will survive. Fulham are very poor, and Burnley aren't too clever. See you next season. Relax, lads. Marching on together. Cheers, Paul. I hope we are. Tom says, John, you pressed the wrong button because you were in Blythe Butchers with Joelinton getting a massive Brazilian sausage. And actually, I've got this to show you. I was designing something today, and then I sort of put a little tattoo on Joelinton's arm. So make of this what you will, guys. I just spent the afternoon having a little bit of a play around on the computer, and
I think that would look lovely on his arm, wouldn't it? It would, it just says everything. And I think if he ever gets a hat-trick for Newcastle United, John, I think he should get a tattoo like that, shouldn't he? And you should get one with Joe, and the three hearts as well. That would be lovely together, wouldn't it?
Hey, Paul, I'll take the knee, mate. I'll take the knee.
Wow.
Oh, will you now? Will you?
Yeah. See, he's been caught now. The infection of the Four Horsemen's taken over Lee now, going on to one knee and stuff. Yeah. We know all about going on to one. Well, John does anyway. Billy says, amazed that the VAR offside checks are available immediately, but take 10 minutes when it's against us, or not at all if you think about the Spurs goal that wasn't checked. I mean, he wasn't. I don't think he was offside, Martinelli, when he got that ball yesterday.
He was definitely onside.
Yeah. Charles says, Moloch and Almiron sitting in a tree kissing. We haven't had any exclusives from Peter, so I think Moloch is dying away now. I don't think Peter's the mole, to be fair. Sam from NFTV, good evening, buddy. Bruce is fantastic at choosing formations that don't really suit key players. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it just, we've said that for so long, though. He just doesn't realise. Oh, God, Judy's back again. Holy hell. Mike Ashley has lost so many watches and rings while fisting Paul. Paul can now earn 50k just from farting jizz on the cash for gold counter. How has that happened? How do I get the flack now? I've never had anyone come at me on this show, and she's the first one. Shame on you. Leila says the problem is Miggy is too weak to play in the Premier League. Yeah. Andrew says, what youth players do you think are good enough for the squad next year? Think Woodman will push Dubravka? Lee, I know you go on, Pete.
I think Woodman will be one to keep in a starting place at the moment.
Yeah.
That's my only problem.
Lee, I know you sort of keep an eye on the other 23s. Is there anybody you've got your eye on that might be able to come in and do a job?
If you're going to give anyone, it's obviously Elliot Anderson's the big one in it. Stan Flaherty's had a brilliant season. Dylan Stevenson, one from the under-18s coming in. Joe White, he's just got injured. He's a great central midfielder. Keep an eye out on him as well. So those are the few. I think a lot of them could do with a loan spell out.
What do you reckon are the ones that are coming back? And Kellen Watts and Sorensen, do you think they'll get a shot?
No, I think Sorensen's gone. I think Watts could. Yep. People talk about we need a new centre-back, but you've got Lejeune and you've got Kellen Watts there. There's your two already for me. You don't need to improve that. If Fabian Schär goes, and fair enough, give the lad a chance. He's been doing the business the last 2.5 years.
I'd love to see Lejeune play as well. I really do. I'm a big fan of his. Andy says Pete was seen in B&M's with Matt Ritchie looking at lubes. Apparently they couldn't decide. After 10 minutes, PD cracks Ritchie in the throat with a Metallica record and whispers, "Tears are my favourite lube." Oh my God. Oh, God. Wow. Kevin said, Arsenal, even a second team, were poor as us. We were there to be given a hiding. If we play like that Friday night, Leicester would be looking at a pasting. Miggy, poor, Shelby, shit. Well, you know what it is? Leicester could run up a score. They simply could. If we play like that, undoubtedly. David says, Bruce brings Joelinton will not play remaining games as he's busy with John doing ass to mouth.
Oh, man.
Wow. Paul, do you mind for Archer's just sent me a message? Yeah. You know how he said he ordered a mankini and a wig?
Oh, God, aye.
Well, he's waiting on the mankini still, but he has sent me a wig if you want to have a look at that.
Go on, then.
Go on, then.
That's out of something about Mary, isn't it? The film. Oh, my God.
You're going to have to tell me why he bought a mankini.
We don't know, to be honest, mate. I don't know. I mean, all I know is he came on my fan forum show about 3 weeks ago with looking like that one out of, what was the band?
Oh, YM's. Hold on.
Like the YMCA song. The guy with the handlebar tash and everything. It was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it.
I've still got it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, him. That's not actually Archer, but the tash is exactly the same. It was ridiculous. I've never seen anything so crazy in my life. And it's just like guessing what he's going to come on the next show as. Tom says John was running late because he pressed the wrong button. Oh, we've already seen that one.
See that one.
Damn, StreamYard. If you guys don't want Miggy, send him to Ibrox. Yeah, John, do you want to tell everybody about the Glasgow Derby on Sunday, mate?
Rather I didn't, but one thing I will say, but I can't see Celtic ever beating Rangers ever again, and as long as Steven Gerrard's at the club, it ain't gonna happen. But seriously though, Celtic need a big manager in the summer, because there's a lot of changes there needs to be happening. You know, Edouard be on his way. There's going to be a couple of players. Christie could be gone as well, but it's going to be a huge change, like But we need to get that title back, because if Celtic's going to come back and win that title back, they're going to have to make some canny signings. Eddie Howe, off he end up going to Celtic.
Yeah, be interesting. Matthew says we are by no means safe yet. West Brom getting a point is at least something. They're still in it. If they win all the remaining games and we lose all of ours, they will overtake us and relegate us. I cannot see West Brom.
No, I think West Brom are definitely down.
Yeah,
they got aren't they?
Yeah, Liam says can see Carroll ending up at Gateshead like Mike Williamson. That would be interesting.
Coaching job, I could say that.
Aye, play coach.
Possibly.
Yeah. That wouldn't be a bad move for him, actually.
I think Carroll will stay on for another year.
Oh, God. I
think he will.
I think we need him. Yeah.
I think he will. I think Bruce will do it for another year. Is the last minute pump the ball up. I think he will sign on.
I just don't see the point of it. But hey ho. Mark says if this takeover goes through, I hope it's announced with John and Joelinton flying around Newcastle on a magic carpet singing A Whole New World. Oh, how romantic would that be?
Oh,
lovely. We are so easy to play against. Opposition can play as a walking pace, keeping the ball, and as soon as we have the ball, we get pressed into mistakes. We just can't play it out. We just cannot play it out. Seen more attack and threat and quality in the Hebben concert match than Newcastle did on Sunday. Well, we didn't see any, did we? What attack and threat did we see from Newcastle on Sunday? None. Tom says congratulations to Hebben. You what, John?
You didn't even lay a glove on them yesterday. No. This is the worst Arsenal team I've witnessed in 25 years. Right? This is the team that lost, 13 games this season, lost 7 games at home, 6 away. How I mean, you couldn't even lay a flipping glove on them. It is absolutely disgraceful, honestly.
Do you know what wound me up with that game is that you've got Jack at left back who picks up a yellow card and we didn't even go down that side and go and attack him because he picks up cards for fun. He's on a yellow. Get Murphy at him. Get ESM at him. Get Miggy at him. People with pace. Nah. We'll just pass around. We'll go casual.
Lee, this manager is an absolute coward sort of thing. He's just so happy standing with his hands in his pockets, sweet. Don't get a flying toss about it, sweet. And you have to have a tactical note upstairs. You ain't got that. Most managers will have changed tactical, make tactical switch, 4-2-3-1, right, and give it a real go. If you get beat having a real go, okay, cool.
Fair enough.
But we didn't let a glove on him, and that's why you're going to get criticised for it. Do you know what I mean?
It was a mouldy performance.
You know what it is?
A bit damp.
And mouldy.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I did say, actually, John, remember, halfway through the second half, first half, that, Xhaka was booked on the 19th minute or something. Why not switch ASM onto that side and get ASM just to constantly run at him? Because he had no pace. His tackling's horrendous. He would have been sent off. He would have been, he wouldn't have been able to cope with ASM. But Bruce doesn't have the nous to try and change anything during a game. He goes out with the same tactics and will not change.
So predictable, right? They just don't change a thing. And this is why, hopefully, at the end of the season, right? Yeah. And I don't care what anyone says, this guy's got to be sacked. Honestly, if he's not sacked, right? Yeah. And he's still there, we're at the takeover, we are done. We're definitely done next season, I'm telling you, real talk. You know what I mean? And like one of the guys commented earlier on, we get relegated, we're going to end up like Forest.
Yeah, or even Sunderland. Lee, what were you going to say, mate?
I was going to say, what do you reckon Xhaka should have got that second yellow for Longstaff? Consistency in the game.
Yeah, I think if that was the other way around, he would. If that was like Matt Ritchie or somebody like that who was on the yellow and did that, he would have been sent off, undoubtedly. The bias in this game is not going away very quickly. It's blatantly obvious. I mean, that was a yellow card all day long. and we know it was. But again, it's as normal. We just see this absolute bias towards the damn six bloody arse teams. It makes me angry when I talk about them because they're just trying to control everything in football, and even the referees are giving them the benefit of the doubt and stuff like that. It's sickening, really. Archer says, "Good evening, Lee. If Bruce gets the sack in the summer, leaving the club with a mankini as he drives off, who would you take over? For me, I would have Rafa back." Basically, what he's saying there in English, Lee, is who would you have in as manager?
I wouldn't want to say Bruce or Rafa and Mankini, put it that way. If it was a short term, and I've said this before, was Gus Hiddink is a short term project, but of a long term, because he's a free agent, you've got to look at Eddie Howe, haven't you? Because there was rumours that he was going to go to Celtic, as John was saying. He hasn't actually gone, so there's something not making that deal go through if he is talking to them. So I think Eddie Howe would be a great deal. But what worries me is Bruce will have 12 months left on his deal. The club will have to start talking to him if they are keeping him on.
All right. Yeah. That's my worry, that he's going to get an extension. I've said many times over the last couple of weeks, in the summer, we'll get up and we'll go and make a cup of coffee or whatever, sit down, go on with phones, put Twitter on, and there it is. Newcastle announced an extension of 5 years for Steve Bruce. I would physically cry, I think. I would actually cry because that would just demoralise me.
They'll do it. If that does happen, they'll do it once the season's gone, because the season ticket money will come first. Let's keep it sweet. Let's say we're getting these players in, what have you, and then soon as the first game comes, season money's been paid. Bruce signs a new 3-year deal.
Oh, holy shit, man!
I tell you what it is, guys, I will say this now, right? But if Steve Bruce ever signs a 3-year deal, anytime, okay, or whoever it may be, guys, I could see season tickets. I could be wrong on this. Season ticket sales just gonna drop and drop and drop. They won't do it before that. They'll do it after.
No, they'll do it after. They always do.
Does it ever learn sort of thing, like, man? I mean,
no, it doesn't. It's not a case of learning, John. It's a case of him just being a twat. We know Mike Ashley, what he does. Like Lee said there. How many times over the years have we seen coming up to season ticket renewals, some news about ploughing money in or big transfer coming, and then as soon as the season ticket, the first few weeks of the season ticket sales are done, nout, absolutely nout, and we know that can happen, and that's just what he does. I've just half read this one from Billy. Joelinton was dropped yesterday after the physio reported to Bruce that after his examination of Joelinton, after a very hard drilling from John, Joelinton's arsehole reminded him of the Japanese flag. Wow. Wow.
Can I ask John a question?
Go on.
John, I need to know, what is this loving with Joelinton all about? You need to tell me in black and white what it's all about.
Not me, baby, not me.
Yes, it was.
What it is, right? I mean, they rang us up, like, because Paul, about a couple months ago, said that, how much do you think Joelinton will be worth? And I said he'd be lucky to get something like 15 million quid back, right? If you're lucky. And then I got absolutely raped for that. I said 15 million, and I got ripped. A good one for that. And from then on, they all think I'm his biggest fans. But you know me, I'm not a fan of him. Listen, at the end of the day, I says it as it is, sort of thing. I don't think he's good enough for Newcastle. Yeah, he tries, but he's not my number 9.
People have never let him forget it, and obviously, as soon as he said 15 million, that was it. People just thought, "Oh, he loves Joelinton," and it's just stuck ever since. It really has. I know, it's terrible, but he takes it like a man, don't you, John?
I do.
I've just realised what I said there. Yeah, never mind. So will Cabbage still be managing next season for you then? I think if there's no takeover, he will be, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to walk away, and Ashley's certainly not going to sack him. So I'm afraid we're going to have to put up with him. Oh, God, Judy's back. Spoilers. John has been cast for Armageddon 2, where NASA sends Toon's fans up to a black hole to save the Earth. John's girthy dong plugs the immense vortex after a training montage of bumming Joelinton. Judy, seriously, Judy, I don't know where your mind is on a Monday night. I don't know where it is. I really don't. It's certainly not the same place as ours. Good almighty. Jules says, Joelinton rushed to the hospital for almost drowning John in tears, saying, I didn't mean to come that hard. Tom says, my friend scored the winner today for Heaven. He's absolutely buzzing. Yeah, he got interviewed after the game, didn't he? And he was absolutely on fire. He was, I'd heard, as usual on Twitter, you get the absolute dongs coming on saying, oh, he was a proper chav and all of this. He's a young Geordie kid, absolutely ecstatic. He scored a winning goal in the Wembley Cup final. Give him a break. You know what I mean? The lad was on fire. He just couldn't wait to get on the drink with his mates and celebrate a fantastic win. So, people need to just grow up. Andrew said, who's your money on to score a goal before the end of the season? Mitro or Joelinton? Yeah, he's struggling a bit, Peter.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's been dropped the last 1 or 2 games, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Mitrovic. I don't think Mitrovic, a lot of people, Fulham fans have said they don't think Mitrovic is actually good enough for the Premier League. They don't think he's the answer.
He's dipped a bit. He's certainly dipped. I mean, he seems to be on fire for his country. But
not for the Premier League.
Not for the Premier League, which is interesting. Judy's back again. You what, John?
He was banging in goals in the Championship, though. Got them up. But in the Premier League, he's just struggled a little bit. You're right.
Yeah, he does seem to struggle. Judy, Baz is not here because the glory hole in the load-bearing wall was causing subsidence. Joelinton said, no need for a builder. My man Goo can cement any crack. Lee's just shaking his head thinking, what have I come on to here? What is it I've come on to? You knew what you were getting yourself in for, Lee.
Just bums and crack, isn't it? in Orshafton.
Yeah, well, you knew what you were getting yourself in for. I'm sure Carl filled you in on it. The Dutch rudder himself.
Oh, my bum cheeks are squeezed very tight, so nothing's coming up me.
I don't think Carl will ever, this Dutch rudder thing. Whenever he's on this show, he gets absolutely blasted for that.
Yeah, he
absolutely hilarious.
He loved it.
Yeah. Kendo said, should help Gateshead get promoted. He's obviously talking about Andy Carroll. I don't think that's a bad shout, going as a player coach and starting off as coaching down there, along there might do him some good. Oh, God, here we go. David, John Joe Shelby is my man of the match.
No, he was a lazy bastard, as always, out on that pitch once again. He's not a captain. He's time stood. He's passed it, finished, and he needs to sod off out of this club.
David,
Go on, Lee.
That was the same thing Peter said, because Peter came on the fan reaction show. That's the same thing he said about John Joe Shelby as well.
If I was going to do an early ratings for the season, I'm going to do it now. Just get him out in this week. I'm going to drop him to 0 out of 10. Get him. Get out in the club.
David, in other words, a message for you, matey. Go and take your face for a shit. Right. I'll see you tomorrow on the fan forum. But if you come back on tomorrow night, mind, and you say that John Joe has been man of the match, you'll be in the penalty box again for 5 minutes. I turfed him out the show last week for 5 minutes for talking about John Joe. It was ridiculous. So I put him in the sin bin. He's a good man, though, David. He loves the laugh. Chongold is back again. We should sign Harry Balzic. He can make the cut. Harry Balzic. There you go. I've said it. Lee, I said you were almost caught out a few times on the last word last night. I noticed you managed to save yourself some grace.
Oh, yeah. We had a few Arsenal, because obviously AFTV get done all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
And we had it on the watch-along, the pre-match build-up, the last word. Thought, no, we'll skip back. Do you know where you've just got the funny name titles of people. You read it out, don't you, by mistake?
Oh, yeah.
So I was nearly caught. I was pretty switched on by it, though.
Yeah. You were, actually. I was impressed, given that, you'd been on you'd done the whole match thing, and then tiredness normally creeps in after a few hours, and you kind of look and thinking, does that say what I think it says? And then you've got to stay alert. But on this show, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Any other shows on my channel, I wouldn't read them out, obviously, but this Monday night one just goes to hell. Luke said, my mates couldn't understand what Ollie was saying, Tom, because they are Northern Irish. Okay. Michael says Mitro more likely to score against us than Shelby ever scoring. You can't just see it, can't you? You know, it goes to the Fulham game for relegation, and you know it's 1-1 or something. 90th minute, Fulham get a corner. Mitro scores the winner. It's just in the stars that some shite like that would happen. Remember Asprilla almost signed for Darlington and didn't turn up? God, I remember that. I remember that. Jesus Christ, that was a long time ago. But that was in George Reynolds' era, thinking he could sign somebody like him. Right. Okay.
Didn't Darlington like go through a spell of getting like Clive Weinhard and Craig Hignett and they had somebody else as well. They had a real good attacking force.
Honestly, they had a really good team when I went to they got to Wembley. I went down to Wembley to watch them play Peterborough in the playoff final. They lost, but they had the likes of Gabbiadini, Hignett, all those guys. But they just obviously they were signing the players that were sort of towards the end of the careers. I mean, Gabbiadini, to be fair to him, I know he's like a macker, but he did really well for Darlington. He was still some forward. They had like Craig Little in defence. He went on to play for Middlesbrough. He was a good player. But they signed some really good players. Tom says, Kevin says, Tom Dixon, think the scenes at Old Trafford yesterday were disgraceful. Do I feel sorry for them? No, they weren't mourning when they were winning things 700 million plus owners have spent. Exactly. It's hard to feel sorry for Man United fans. Man United in the top 6 scum of the earth. Don't feel sorry for them at all. Want the slice of cake and all of everyone else's. John, can you imagine Newcastle United fans doing something like that yesterday? What Sky Sports would have done, or what? Because I guarantee you now, Roy Keane wouldn't be sitting there saying, "Oh, you know, I'm totally behind the fans what they're doing. They've had enough and all of this." We would have got slated.
I totally agree, no doubt about it. I mean, listen, if you're going to do a protest, right, do it peacefully. I've got no problems having a protest, like if it's a peaceful one, you know, like whatever. But you don't go on a football pitch for that and cause havoc. You just don't, because at the end of the day, we could be in trouble as a club. We can get points deducted. We can get charged from the FA straight away. I can see, man, you getting charged from the FA. I'm waiting for that as well. But you're right. But we would have got absolutely slated. You know what I mean? But again, they're looking after the top 6 again, bigging them up to say do the right thing. But for us, we get absolutely ripped a good one yet again.
It'll be interesting. Be interesting what they do with, because I've seen a video where they're kicking the door in, and then there's loads of them going through. Be interesting because you can clearly see it. They'll have fantastic CCTV inside the ground. It'd be interesting to see if Man United, the club, because that's criminal damage. If they'll be interesting to see if they prosecute those fans who've done that.
You know what got me was the way they were saying it was a peaceful protest, but you know, you saw them throwing TV cameras onto the pitch and reporters, you know, newspaper reporters' cameras getting thrown everywhere. And did anyone see that guy who had his face slashed, by the way? Did anyone see that? It was behind he was behind Gary Neville. Gary Neville was doing I think Carragher was having a word with him or something, and then he turned around and they showed him the camera, and he had a massive slash across his face. It had been done up temporarily with steri strips. But honestly, he'd had his face cut white. It wasn't a peaceful protest. This is what I don't understand. No. And it was mainly, if you look at the people that were on the pitch, it was kids, it was chavs. You know, it wasn't proper supporters making a point. They were all kids, and that's what got me. Just because it's Man United, they think they can get away with it. Andrew says, Lee, who would your manager realistically be if Bruce got sacked?
Eddie Howe. Why not?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about Wilder, Lee? Would you take him?
Is he better than Bruce?
Yeah.
Then we're taking him.
Good point.
Every time you ask me a manager question, ask that one after.
Yeah.
Is he better than Bruce?
Yeah. Thomas says Lee is so calm. Yes, that's because his partner's made him take a couple of horse tranquilizers before coming on this show, just to keep him calm. He is a very laid-back character, is Lee. So as you're finding out, he's probably in the back of his mind thinking, "My God, what have I done agreeing to come on here?" But he's a good sport for doing it anyway. Matthew says, "Has Sharky been brought into a vortex? No previews or reviews or nothing. I don't know what's happened to Sharky. Peter, have you heard anything from him?"
I think he's just having a break off YouTube for a bit. He's been out and about a lot of the time, so Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned. I haven't seen him for a while. Doing any vids?
Yeah, I think he's just having a break.
Yeah,
at the moment.
I know he was getting a lot of. He stopped doing live streaming because he was getting a load of trolls, wasn't he? He was getting some horrible trolls on.
Oh, that was horrible.
When he did that last Friday night one, he was getting some absolute arseholes coming on and just completely ruining the stream. So if he is having a break, he did comment on here and one of my tweets yesterday, I think. So hope you're all right, Sharky, and big up to you, mate. Keep going. Don't let them get to you. Tony says, since the Glazers took over, 5 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup, 4 EFL Cups, 1 Champions League, and 1 Europa League, and they say we're delusional. I'd swap the trophies any day of the week. Judy, oh God. Turns out Baz is not here because he got arrested for nicking cat's eyes off the A167. When asked why, he needed a few hundred to give Bruce's fat ass a vajazzle.
Oh!
Christ almighty. Kendo says, Hendrick is 30 next season. Do you think we've seen the best of him? Too many players in our squad turning the wrong side of 30. Shah, Shelby, Wilson, Dummett, Bruce. Bruce. It is a worry. We are aging. We have an aging squad, John.
Look at the names just mentioned, mate. Yes, we have. And that is why I said I'll only keep 6 players next season. Need fresh blood in.
Just 6.
That's what I keep 6. The rest of them, 4 of them probably squad players. The rest of them, I'll just get rid of them very, very quickly because some of them's outstayed their time at Newcastle, if you know what I mean. But listen, we definitely need fresh blood in that team.
John, it's not Football Manager where you can sell 20-odd players in one summer.
Definitely not.
Pay them off then.
Annie says, have all the money you want, but if you have bad recruitment and or bad management, you will not succeed. Guy's got a point. How did Bristol City get on the weekend, Annie? Irfan says, John's hydrating a lot this evening, obviously getting ready for an eye-watering workout with Joel. Matthew says, I saw Joelinton reversing his car in my street. I slashed his window in with a baseball bat and told him to fuck off out of this club, and he isn't worth £40 million. Well, if you did that, Matthew, you'd be arrested, and I would be disgusted in you if you really did that, because for all we mess about with John and Joelinton on here, doing stuff like that is definitely not recommended. And I kind of think Joelinton's quite a nice guy, actually. Whenever he's been interviewed or spoken to, he's always come across as a nice guy, so I'm not going to slander his personality at all.
Paul, I've just checked what Bristol City's score was at the weekend.
It was 4-1 to Millwall, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. Sorry, Annie.
4-1 to the Hooligans.
And beating off a team run by hooligans, Annie. How does that make you feel? Poor Nigel Pearson should have come to Newcastle. Kevin says, yep, you're right, Lee. Yanks and our soccer don't mix. Stick to NFL and NBA or whatever it is. They're here to stay, like it or not, but I don't care. And Andrew says, serious question, guys. Would you be happy if you win a cup and get relegated next season, regardless of league?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to win something. I honestly, I'm sick and tired of these cup finals at Wembley and thinking, obviously, excluding COVID, but, being in a cup final, I remember when going to Wembley and against Chelsea and that and stuff and Man United and, the old Wembley. And that was a fantastic day out. So the new Wembley would be even better. But we'll have to see. We need somebody in who wants to take the club forward. Layla says, if Almiron plays on Friday, I'm worried because Ndidi will kill him. Yeah, there is a bit of a size difference there. And Ndidi will run the midfield. If Shelby's in again, he'll just run the midfield.
Yeah.
To Madison, I'm more worried about.
Oh, he's quality. Matthew says, tell John I had a chicken korma last week and I nearly shit myself. Many people thought John had some spicy food or something which made his eyes go a bit crusty, but we all know what it was deep down. Travel Chasing says, looks like players now know we are safe and are now looking to get rid of Bruce again with that terrible performance. Did you see a team playing for the manager yesterday, Lee?
It's difficult to judge that in one game because you would probably say the previous 4 they would. When you've seen the goal go in against at Anfield, you've seen 3 or 4 players run to Bruce. So I think he does have. I think he's got the backing of some players, but I reckon some players question his tactics. They always say that he's a great man management, a bit like Harry Redknapp, but in tactical sense, he's not up there because we've all heard the stories where he's been told he has a ball, go and play. go and play.
Go and play.
And they'll all just go and kick a ball around. I think he's not great tactically, but 1-to-1, he's probably brilliant, but that's not enough at this level.
Well, Shelby certainly thinks he is, doesn't he? Judy's back again. Mike Ashley has promised to build more wheelchair access for St James's Park after Josh King's Kong Willie has left Joelinton unable to walk. Dear me. Honestly. Apparently it's 1-1 now in the Burnley game.
It's actually 2-1 at West Ham.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
2-1 at West Ham.
Wow. Hammers.
Yeah, one hammers to win that, so Burnley still have to turn up against Fulham. Thomas says, John, your teeth look so shiny tonight. Have you been using Joelinton's special brush? With some Colgate on it. Oh, dear. Will the Man United versus Liverpool game get played, or will they find a different venue to play at following yesterday's antics? It'll go ahead at Old Trafford. I don't think they'll put another protest on. They did what they needed to do yesterday, and if they've got any sense, then they won't do it again. The message got across loud and clear, so there's no need for anything like that again. How far do you think England will get in the Euros? That's a good question. Peter?
Well, it all depends who Southgate selects. What he needs to do is pick players who have been on form for the clubs, because if he persists with the same players, the likes of Eric Dyer and all these other average, and all these other average players, we may as well forget about going to the Euros, because we'll not get very far indeed.
Peter, I feel a bit of anger in your voice there. Strong patriot. God help us when we do the shows during the Euros, mate. You might be throwing things around your room.
Oh, God.
Lee Jonathan says, have you and Shah split up after yesterday?
I had a bit of a man crush on Fabian Schär's first season, because he was brilliant, wasn't he, under Rafa?
Oh, yeah, and undoubtedly.
He's been Bruce big time the last 2 years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But, stupid daft twat going through him in behind. Can't do that in the modern game. And look, the game's gone soft. I mean, Paul, you probably remember the 90s where it was hard crunching David Batty and all of that. Oh, and you can't do that nowadays. I mean, that's 5 red cards. What David Batty would do to you.
Batty would never survive in these times. He just wouldn't. He'd be suspended more than he plays. I used to love Batty though. That time when he grabbed Nicky Butt by the neck at St James's, Nicky Butt absolutely shot himself. He just grabbed him and lifted him up. It was brilliant.
Clarence Acuna. I mean, he wouldn't survive today.
Oh God, no. Some of the South Americans wouldn't.
And Vinnie Jones, they won't survive today, man.
Dear God. Archer says, on the 17th of May, Bruce gets stuck in sand while Joelinton sticks seaweed on his pubes and waters Bruce with Joelinton juice. Thanks for that, Archer. Thanks for that, mate. Us staying up with paper over the cracks. Yeah, well, it always happens. That's just the way Steve Bruce is, the look that he's got. No way, 4 games, lad. Not a chance. Obviously confident we're staying up. Judy said... Joe was caught asking John to fart in his mouth so he can breathe onto a lighter like a fire-breathing dragon. John said the only thing dragging me nuts on your face. Oh, God almighty.
Judy, you're lucky I didn't have a drink there.
Jesus, wept. She obviously goes away and just thinks of something and then types it straight away. Absolutely incredible. She's taken over from Chippers. Andrew says, how is that strange? Its opinions cannot do worse than what's on the pitch. Judy says, lol, at the tattoo image. Oh, yes, thank you very much.
She's lucky I didn't have a drink there just before.
I know. It could have been all over the front room. Matthew says, I think if we win all our remaining games, Steve Bruce will force a massive shite out of his arse and pull his caked ass cheeks out in front of the Sky Sports cameras. That's something I do not want to see at all.
No.
Kobe says the social media boycott has been very successful, in my opinion. This is how it should be. Lee, I think I'll share the same with you. I didn't take part in it because, I'd rather see actions rather than anything else. And I don't think out of the millions and billions of Twitter users, social media users, that a handful, it will look like a handful, obviously, even if hundreds of people did it. We've got to start seeing actions from these social media companies and not, just protests all the time, because how many more protests are we going to have against these racist people, homophobic people, trolls, all that kind of thing? It's got to come to a conclusion now where something has to be done. whether it be, you have to register, you have to send proof of who you are. But I think you rely on the same boat as me, don't you?
100%. We didn't take part in it because we put the documentary out on our channel this week. I think someone's seen something's more powerful than someone being quiet. I think you have to speak up. It's not wrong that you've gone quiet. I don't think it's anything wrong if you believe in that. We didn't. I've seen a lot of people break it as well because the pull of social media is too much for them. But I think what the social media companies will have lost revenue this weekend in advertisement because the power of, I don't know, say Sky Sports, 1 million followers, or BT, 800,000, what have you, all these companies not having ads on their videos would have cost the social media revenue. Are they bothered by that by 4 days? No, these companies are absolutely killing it for adverts and people using it in ads on your right-hand side. When you log into Facebook and Instagram, you say ads appearing. They've got to do more. But
it's weird, isn't it? Because you go onto social media and you're like, before you've gone on, you've been talking to someone about buying a new camera or something, then suddenly you go onto Facebook and there's camera adverts on there. You think, how the fuck do you know that?
Because that's the cookies following you. But the government have to make that a law, because if the government make it a law, the social media companies have to follow the UK law. So it comes from the very top, from the government first.
Yep, totally agree. Tangy says, all we need on Joelinton's tattoo is the Angel of the North and the words Lighthouse Family on it now to complete it. Yeah, John, you took a bit of flack about being the Lighthouse Family's lead singer last week. I would just like to comment on somebody commented on the video last week, and it was a troll. Barry got it as well. Saying that this show was just being completely racist towards John and his family, and we were being very unprofessional and stuff like that when it comes to John. And the fact of the matter is, if that troll is watching tonight, which I presume you may well be, to have another go at us, this show was all done in good taste, and it's just a bit of fun. It's banter. That's all it is. I've known John for a good while now, and a class in one of my best mates. So don't come on here and troll us saying things like that, because it's utterly pathetic. John loves having the jokes. John loves having a laugh and taking part in the jokes as well. I've had a few aimed at me tonight. Am I going to go and cry about it? No, because it's all in good taste. It's all good banter. And that's all this is. It's to make people have a good laugh on a Monday night to start the week off. If you don't like it, you don't watch it. It's as simple as that. You have your option. You can either press play or press whatever it is on YouTube to watch it, or you can just skip and don't watch it. Watch something else. It's not going to hurt me if a troll doesn't watch it. But 99.9% of the comments we get on this show are absolutely fantastic, saying how well they've cheered everybody up. The mental health's been down and they've needed a good laugh, and it's been 2 hours of just complete craziness, and they've had such a good laugh, it's given them a lift. And for me, those people are all that counts. The people that really enjoy it, that have a laugh. And don't come on saying we're being racist and things like that, because if I was racist, I wouldn't have John on the show. John is a very, very popular guy on here, and I love him to bits. And as for his family, John, I think that was ridiculous, wasn't it? Because, everybody knows how much of a laugh you have on here and how close we all are.
Paul, what you just said, I echo everything you said, mate. Honestly, it's banter, it's great fun, and listen, if this could be a racist thing, I wouldn't even do my streamings at all whatsoever, sort of thing. I wouldn't have 650 people following, subscribing to my channel, sort of thing. So I must have done something correct, but you're right. Banter is fun, and listen, I'm glad I came on last week, so even though I wasn't 100%, I'm not going to lie.
Exactly. John, last week, John must have looked in the mirror before he came on that show and thought, I am going to get absolutely ragged on here, and people saying, we were making jokes about being Chris Eubank and Frank Bruno and stuff like that. That was being racist. Well, how? It doesn't matter about the colour of the skin. Myself or Peter could have made the comment about Joelinton and then started taking the hammer for Joelinton. It was just the fact that John said it. It doesn't matter about colour of skin. It really doesn't. No. And we only said he looked like them because he's the same colour as them. So he's bound to look like Frank Bruno when his eyes are swollen. It's all good fun, and that's what it is. So if you've got a problem, then don't watch. Simple as that. But thanks for commenting on that, John, just putting people right. Anyway, back to the craziness. Andrew says, would you guys attack Leicester or park the bus? Peter?
I play
Go on, John.
I play 4-2-3-1. I mean, all the way, because that game, if you're going to go there with a defeatist attitude, which you have been for the whole of the season, when you're going to absolutely sort out the game, the midfield is a huge problem, and that needs fixing up. Do you know what I mean? Yes, Hayden's a big miss, right? But at the end of the day, you have to have Matty and Joe in the holding role, drop Shelby, play Sean Longstaff as a 10 role, right? Because that's his position, really. It's a 10 role. You know what I mean? ASM on the right hand side. I'll bring Elliot Anderson in for this game. So I've gone out to lose. We're going to get beat. So just go ahead and change it up. Have a go.
I mean, the thing is, we can say till the cows come home about dropping Shelby. That isn't going to happen, and we have to accept that. There's no way he's going to drop him. Kevin says, sorry, come on, man. Judy must be a gadget with comments like that. Oh, he's one aimed at me, so am I going to go and cry away? Look at this. Paul and Mike Ashley never seen in the same room. Lookalikes. Jesus Christ. Guys, Howie, back me up here. Don't just sit in silence. I mean, come on.
Look nothing like him, Paul. No.
Thanks. Peter, Howie, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, you do not look like each other at all.
Mike Ashley, Jesus Christ. I've been called a lot in my time, but never Mike Ashley. Christ almighty. But thanks, lads, for the quick backup. I'll remember that. Jules says we will park the Beetle, let alone the bus. Judy says, I'm not a gadgie. Well, maybe a little. I really don't know what to make of that comment, actually. Kendo says, Joelinton handed in a transfer request after being benched. He said, with the piles, John, the Punisher has given me, there's no way I can sit on a hard bench ever again. Kevin says, Andrew's on drugs again. Us to beat Man City, we couldn't beat our thirds. Exactly. Andrew then says, true, but would you have a go, open up, might lose 6-3 or park and take a 1-0? I don't think it matters against Man City, Peter, if we park the bus or attack them.
No, it doesn't matter. Well, it's technically any game. If we park the bus, no, we're just asking for a defeat now. Yeah. I mean, have you seen us park the bus this season and come out with a positive result? No.
Yeah.
You cannot park. Go on, sorry, you cannot park the bus now. I think we could understand it if it was like we have to get a point today. We have to, but because we've got that gap now. I'd agree with John. Going into Leicester can hurt us in the final third. But we've got some talented players as well. We've got Wilson, we've got ASM, we've got Miggy if he's playing in the right position. So I would go after them as well. Why not?
We need to use them players. We need to use them to the best of their abilities. And I've banged on about this for weeks now, that we need to play the players in the proper position, take the shackles off them, and let them play where they used to be playing and go at them. And just have a go. We've got nothing to lose, man. You know what I mean? Just try and have a go. MB7 says, who does John keep looking at? Notice him every now and again having a look at something in his room.
Is Joelinton there, John?
AC Milan wants him as well, by the way.
He's got Elvis with him.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Elvis, Christ almighty. Matthew said, here we go. Did you hear about the pacey German winger we are linked with in the summer? He's called It's Just a Piz. That's not one of your better ones, Matthew. I was expecting better. Anthony says, Judy, I'm laughing so much I can't breathe. Andrew says, yep, Kevin's called optimism. Try it. That's the problem with most Toon fans. You've got to believe. Now, Andrew, you're more of a Rangers fan than you are Toon fan, mate. And listen, what exactly have Newcastle fans got to be optimistic about? And what over the last 15 years have we had to be optimistic about? This is the bottom line. This is where this man, Mike Ashley, and his little, tiny friend Penfold have put us in. We are in this position because of them, and we have no optimism anymore. That's why we need somebody to take over this club, scrape out from the very bottom to the top and restart this club and give us our club back. Interact with the fans like they used to. Lee, you remember, John, in the 90s when they used to have these, fans forums where the players and the owners used to turn up to. The manager, Keegan, used to go to them. They used to have interaction with all the fans. Keegan coming up the stairs to explain why he sold Andy Cole. That wouldn't happen these days because Steve Bruce would get knifed probably. But you know what I'm saying? There's no communication. Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Hypothetical speaking. You know what I'm saying, though? It's not the same anymore. It's not the same club. That club had a relationship with its fans. It had a special bond with the city. It doesn't have that at the minute. At the minute, St James's Park is just a haunted house at the minute on top of a hill. It literally feels like that, and it looks like that, to be fair, at the minute. But it's just not the same. And from us, when we saw this going on in the 90s, it's painful for us. It's really painful because we know what the club can be. And it's just not that anymore.
Do you know what it is, Paul? If I had another owner who didn't put any money in the club like Mike Ashley, but spoke to the fans, I'll take that.
Yeah,
that's all I want. A bit of communication with the club. I'm not expecting the Saudis and what have you. If you give me another person similar to Mike Ashley, but he communicates with the club, he allows fans in. We actually have proper fans forums, not one every 5 years, one every 3 months, and the nuts get involved and what have you. I would want that. That's what we lack. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, I used to go. I went to a couple back in the 90s, you know, and I was what, the early 20s and stuff, and it was a fantastic atmosphere. You actually felt part of the club. You know what I mean? You felt that bond, and you felt that the people that were turning up to these forums from the club side really did care about the fans, and that's what meant a lot to us. And that's what kind of always, like, through my younger years growing up, the club felt a part of you. It didn't feel like this kind of haunted house anymore, you know, just an empty place that just doesn't give a damn. You know, it felt a part of the city. It felt a part of everything. You know, I used to wake up and, you know, look forward to going to St James's Park and look forward to interacting in fans forums and stuff like that. It's very hard to get up for that now because of what's gone on. I just want to see that back. And I believe that after a takeover, it would happen.
You know what it is, right? I mean, you just said, Kevin Keegan come out and spoke to the fans after you saw Andy Cole. I mean, I thought he was brave to come out and did that, but big up to Kevin Keegan when he did that. You know, he explained to us what's happened. He told us why you had to do it, blah, blah, blah. Communication is key. Communication is key between the board and the fans. The fans pay their money, right? They pay season tickets, the food. They travel all over the country to see your favourite club, right? And then they need to be told. It's as simple as that. What we got today, like you said, it's a closed shop. It's like a haunted house.
No soul.
And I'm not right. And I'm sorry, but you know that is why the communication, the relationship between the board, if you call it that, and the fans, was broken. It's been broken for 14 years, right? 14 years, and once that breaks, it's so difficult to repair. As far as I'm concerned, it's unrepairable. To bridge that gap between the fans and John Lee Ashley sort of thing, or even Bruce for that matter sort of thing. But this is why Rafa came, he got it. He spoke to the fans. He got it. He knew what it meant for the fans. Yeah. He's doing like charity work. He goes up to the food bank. He goes shopping. You know what I mean? He talks to the fans.
He goes shopping.
Yeah. Apparently, he met one of the few fans in the shopping sort of thing, got his autograph sort of thing. He's approachable. I don't know the guy, but he's approachable, man.
Yeah. It just threw me there when he said he went shopping. I thought he's obviously going to go shopping. Tom says, Durex Playfield is a light, smooth pleasure gel and lube to help give John and Joelinton a sensual experience in John's nice bedroom tonight after the show. Yeah. Kevin says, piss off, Paul. Celtic, my jock team, are as much shite as us. And my two Leeds fans mates down here are fucking Rangers fans. Well, enjoy it. You've just got to put up with it, mate, unfortunately. Luke says, John, I didn't know you were a Celtic fan. Hope Joelinton dumps you. Harsh, Luke. Matthew says, I once saw Lee in the club shop a few years ago. Balls into Mike Ashley on the counter. Now you're getting
fair enough.
Oh dear. Andrew says, could Rafa be going to Spurs? I can't see him at Spurs. Spurs are wanting a more sort of attacking-minded manager for me. I don't think the fans would accept Rafa, to be honest. He's going to go on.
He's going to go to Spurs. I mean, Nagelsmann's gone to Bayern Munich, and Erik van Tag has signed a new deal with Ajax. So who's want to go to Tottenham at this moment in time? I mean, they're struggling at the minute.
You know what, though? Tottenham could be a really good job for somebody. You know, they've got a decent squad. You can't say they haven't. But I think if they don't sort the shit out, Harry Kane and Son are going to be off without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, Bale said he's going back to Real Madrid. You know, they're going to be left in the lurch if they don't improve and get any better. Which, you know, I guess we'll see in time over the summer. It's a big summer for Tottenham. Andy says John and Joelinton at it that much they've been advised to get guttering around the bed. How did West Brom finish off against Wolves? It was 1-1, I believe, wasn't it? And Annie said, okay, the weather not being so kind of day in Bristol, join the club, mate. It's been horrible up here and all. Crappy bank holiday Monday weather. Judy's back again, lads. Just prepare you. Christians and rabbis are gutted to learn the story of Moses parting the Red Sea is stolen from the tale of John parting Joelinton's ass with his vein demon. That's nasty. That's nasty. Beat says Jacques' tackle on ASM was on the same level as Shah's. It wasn't really from behind, was it? I mean,
no,
it was a poor tackle.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Irfan says the only good thing on Sunday was the Hamilton winning. No, it was
Ferrari fan. Ferrari all the way.
How can you be Ferrari fan? Why?
I've been Ferrari since Gerhardsberger and John Alesi in 1994. Wow. Followed the team all the way. Not the drivers. I'll go with the team.
I mean, I'm McLaren myself. I've been McLaren since I started watching F1. And I do think Lando Norris is going to be the next big thing. What he's doing with that car this season is pretty spectacular at the minute. But I think Hamilton has proven to everybody that it's not just the car. These 3 races this season, when he's raced Verstappen, it's been fantastic stuff. And, you know, that first race when Hamilton's tyres were gone, yet he managed it and he kept Verstappen back. I think it's going to be a tremendous season this year if you're a Formula One fan. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to be one of the best seasons for a while. But Lewis has just proven that he is a good driver and it's not just the car, which I've always said all along. I mean, many people don't like Lewis Hamilton's personality or whatever. I don't tend to look at that. I'd rather just, judge him on his driving, and I think he's just incredible.
Same as what they said about Michael Schumacher. People didn't like the guy, but what a talent.
I think Mick Schumacher's going to be a good one and all. But he's going to be at the back of the field all this season anyway with the Haas. They're terrible. Okay, we've seen that one. Cheers, says Kevin. Have you ever gave credit to Steve Bruce?
Nope. And he certainly doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, come back on the comments and tell us why we should be praising Steve Bruce at all. What has he done to earn praise apart from slag us off? He slagged the fans off just because he knows. I'm not going to get into a rant here because I can feel my temperature boiling.
Go on, Paul.
This Steve Bruce thing, right? He only has a go at the fans because he knows they're not in the ground. And that's why he's got away with so much crap against us this season. And any Newcastle fan that he claims to be wouldn't speak of the fans like that man has. You know, as a manager, he has to accept that he will get criticised for doing stuff wrong. Any manager in football does. But when it comes to Steve Bruce, he starts hammering back at the fans. It's pathetic. And that's why the man doesn't get any credit for me, because he lowered himself right down when he started having to go at us. Absolutely pathetic. Anyway, Jules says, this is a humour show. Why talk about football? Tom says, no, Chippers, where's he at? He's at Ann Summers in the Metro Centre if you want to call in and look in the window. Kevin says, have you ever given credit to Steve Bruce? Aye, for taking Sunderland for a piss take. Now it's blown back in our face. Be realistic. Credit for what? Well said, Kev. I mean, you 3 other guys on here, can you tell me anything that Steve Bruce should get credit for?
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
Oh.
His best ever result for Newcastle was being Sunderland manager and a 5-1 loss. That's the credit. Nicely done. Yeah. That's the credit Steve Bruce gets.
Fair enough.
Happy Halloween, Macams.
Guys, remember, I didn't know you guys well, I knew Lee, but I mean, when Steve Bruce's name was mentioned for the Newcastle job, right? I watched it. I was nearly had a heart attack. I wanted this manager out before he even came in. And what I'm saying is, I didn't want him in at all whatsoever. That's why I'm on mute before he came in. And when he was named as manager, I tell you something, I'm just speechless when he was named manager. I mean, oh man. And then look, always turned out to be like, I say he's going to take us Toon within a couple of seasons if he came to us. And
if you remember as well, John, you remember even Sam Allardyce turned Wood down to come back because then they give it Bruce a week later.
Yeah.
You know,
that's scary shit.
There's the first choice, number one choice for the Newcastle job, Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
He's the number one choice, but apparently he spoke to Rafa Benitez over the phone, and Steven Gerrard did as well, and said, and Vieira as well, tell us about the job, right? And Rafa told him, don't go there.
Well, I mean, it's true. Managers talk, and managers always will talk. You know, they'll talk amongst themselves about different clubs when they get offered jobs. Liam says, I stopped watching it after 20 minutes. I said to my mum the same day that you could put a baby to sleep by watching that. You could do that with most, you know, if you do have a newborn baby, then, you know, just put a Newcastle game on this season and the baby will fall asleep straight away. Beat said the squad needs a huge overhaul, but the match officials are biased for the top six and most likely being instructed by the Premier League. That wig is something like some of us Scots wear to the internationals, talking about Archer's wig. Judy, oh God, reports that the Marshmallow Man's suicide from jumping off the Hadrian's Wall Tower have been debunked. Turns out that a warm, white, bubbling puddle was Joelinton's colon collapsing after a John special. Whoa, wow. Holy shit.
Did John change his avatar to Joelinton for 24 hours?
He did, yes, because
I think every time Joelinton scores a goal, John, you have to do that.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
I've actually said that if Joelinton never scores a hat-trick for us, John has to get his name tattooed on his arse cheek. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. I don't think he's got any worry of that happening, but if it did, it would be funny. But yeah, I agree, Lee. I think he should do that after every goal.
It's up for 24 hours, though.
Yeah, but you're not going to have to do it very often. Let's face it, are you?
He tweets all about Joelinton.
Yeah, yeah. You have to change your avatar to Joelinton, and you can only talk about Joelinton for 24 hours, nothing else.
I guess.
Trull says, I'm getting worried this will be a serious podcast now. Nah, that'll never happen. Dave says, will the Premier League ever sanction the Little Six? It's gone very, very quiet on that front. I'm very doubtful as to anything's going to happen. I think they wouldn't dare because of the relationship they've got with them. Kevin says, not into the personal attacks on Pork Pieface regarding killing his dog and family abuse, but he just needs to fucking go. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we all agree on that. Personal abuse like that is ridiculous. But you can criticize his management anytime. MB7 says, I'm fully expecting the same shite next season under Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce. Few loans and cheap signings, another season fighting relegation. That's what it'll be. Steve Bruce looked like a blue waffle yesterday.
Oh, God.
Oh. Wow. Okay. And Trolls, by serious, I mean no fun. Listen, Trolls, this will always be fun, right? Lee's calm tonight because he's had tranquilizers. John's still recovering from a nasty, sperm-fection. And Peter's just been away for a week. So come on, give us time to get going again. Judy says, lol, Billy with the Japanese flag. That was terrible. MB7, if Bruce signs a new 3-year deal, he will be here for 3 years. Ashley doesn't sack managers. We'll be stuck with him if we don't get a takeover. Annie says, this has been slightly underwhelming in terms of quality of jokes so far. Well, Annie, you always speak the truth, but how did Bristol City get on again? Pete says, Lee, what did you make of the Man United fans' protest? Do you think they overstepped the line? If not, do you think we should follow suit?
A small fraction stepped out of the line. That was it. A small fraction when they broke through the doors and smashed them in. I think that's on chatting outside, making their voices heard. Yeah, fine. When it gets violence, no, not for me. Yeah.
You always get the idiots, though, don't you?
You will. We'll have it. We'll have it. If we went,
of course we will.
If we protested like that, we'll have a daft few kids have had a few fizzy pops and try and get in.
Yeah, we had a Raji that punched a horse, for God's sake. You know what I mean? You'll always get them. Kevin says, Judy is a bloke, surely. Ross said, for fuck's sake, I join again and hear this shit again. Yeah, Ross, you knew from last week what you were going to get, mate. It's pretty much the same. I'm worried Almiron could be killed by it. See, why do comments keep coming up like that have already been sent in? StreamYard needs to do something about that. Andrew says, I have to go, lads. I'm struggling today. I'll watch this match. Watch this tomorrow. Keep up good work. Shows like this is what I need. 2-1 prediction Leicester Friday. I do think we'll beat Man City. Really do. Andrew, I know you've had a leg injury or something like that, so get well soon, mate. Judy says, I've got 2 very demented brothers. Obviously, if it's your brothers feeding you the information for the jokes. Irfan says, does anyone miss the derby? I think we all do. But I mean, the derby has to be in the Premier League. That's the thing. Nowhere else.
Not the under-23s.
No, definitely not. I think a lot of us were expecting maybe a championship derby next season. Then we went and got some points, and Sunderland blew out their asses, really, and we don't know what's going to happen to them. Matthew said, are you going to do fan cams when fans return to the stadiums? Well, NFTV definitely will be.
Yeah, we're not sure yet on the home ones, but definitely away ones, because we're splitting with teams up next season.
Right. Fair enough. Peter, are you going to be doing some vlogs?
Oh, yes. I can't wait to do them again. I think that's been a big miss for my channel, is being able to do a lot of them vlogs at the ground, going to away games as well. And there'll be plenty of some non-league vlogs as well, which I want to definitely get back to doing them as well.
Yeah. And John will just be signing autographs because he's become that famous from this show. Matthew said, when will the next derby game? God knows. God knows. It might be a while. Kevin says, Mitrovic is a bit like Chopper. Bang goals in all day in the Championship, but can't hack it in the Premier League. That's fair enough. I mean, Chopper was never outstanding in the Premier League, was he? Do you think we will stay up?
Yeah.
Well, me and Lee are still on the fence.
I think one more point, but I think we will.
Yeah, I think we should, as well.
Fair enough.
One more point of D, but will we be Sheffield out at home? That's another thing altogether. But
I think, John, if Burnley get a result against Fulham, I think we're safe. I really do. I don't think we'll even have to worry, even if we lose to Leicester. I think if Burnley beat Fulham or just draw, I think we're pretty much safe. Judy says, yes, and Noah fan was good. And a quick journey to the stadium in light, but we always fucking lost. Yeah, we didn't have a good run against Sunderland. Oh, God. Irfan says, Lee, do you like a Cleveland steamer?
Oh, God.
No.
Thank God you said no.
I've seen this come up last week, so I've been prepared.
Yep. Oh, God almighty. Judy says, Lee strikes me as the kind of man who doesn't need lube, just pure velocity.
Well, Judy, give me a DM and you can find out.
Oh, hey!
hey.
Oh, dear God, we're turned into a bloody dating show now. I can't find the comments have disappeared again. Honestly, this does my head in when it does this. It just goes straight to the bottom. Hang on. We've got so many in here. Oh, God, we've got some crackers coming up, like, without a doubt.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, oh, my God. Jesus. All right, there we are. This is me, says, I'm a regular on the Newcastle TV channel and recently discovered this one. Love seeing Lee and you guys together. Love the unity. Yeah, well, I you know what it is? We need unity. Quite frankly, there's been so much shit going on the last few weeks on social media and channels and fighting and stuff. It's just, I'm not doing that anymore. I'll tell you, no way. I'm just happy to be friends with everybody and just let it be. And you know what it is? That's how I like it. I just want to be, like it is now. It's pretty much in unity. But why shouldn't different channels unify together? It's ridiculous. Saying, why can't anybody come on different shows? It's crazy. Kevin says, got you lads through telly now. Our lass has gone to bed. She's knackered. Bloody hell, John, you're a good-looking fucker, aren't you? No wonder Joelinton loves you. Nice teeth.
I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to get it polished in a couple of months' time. So, breaking news.
I can't get paying for that.
Hey.
I can't get paying for your tooth polishing, John.
That Google ad money, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it'll be a bloody mighty drill to get Joelinton's juice off his teeth. I'll tell you when he gets to the dentist. Brian says, Sunderland fans think Alan is not Hall of Fame. What players do they have? Shite 40-year-olds. Well, Sunderland have had some decent players in the time. I'm a Borough fan. I think Newcastle will be safe because Fulham had the chance earlier in the season and fell on their asses. Good show, lads. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, I mean, Fulham can, let's face it, they were 11 points before once and pulled it back. They can do it again. They can go on a good run. It's not over yet. When we complain about Ashley, we're deluded. When Man United fans do it, it's so wrong, in my opinion. It's hypocrisy, basically. Bruce's best performance in the Premier League was at Sunderland in 2010 with 1.24 points per game. This season is 1.06. Snap him up on a 5-year deal now. No, thank you. George Reynolds, I used to work for a company who used to deliver to Direct Worktops up at Shildon. Everyone in Shildon hated Reynolds. Reynolds hated everyone in Shildon. I think that's why and I don't know what he's finished with yet. I presume we'll come on to that. What pisses me off about Man United protest is Geordies were called scum for protesting our owner, but Sky Big chose to show their protest and ignored us, while Rio and Jordan publicly slated us. Lee, what's your thoughts on Mr. Simon Jordan?
How long has he been out the game for? You're talking
quite a while.
10 year, and he's on TalkSport to spark controversy. Mm-hmm. Some small stuff makes sense, but a lot of it, you've seen it with Robbie and Ray Parlour, didn't you? Yeah. You've seen all that carry on. I mean, they try and spark, and they're the ones that have got the cheek to say that they do it for views. Yeah, they're accusing the FTV to do it for views. Well, TalkSport do that. They wind us up, they wind fans up. BBC 5 Live do it with Savage and Sutton. They wind us up. Of course they do it. It sparks. It sparks likes, comments, retweets. It gets people ringing in. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. I thought Robbie handled it very, very well when Parlour tried to jump him. Oh, yeah. He put him back in his place well and truly, and I think hats off to Robbie for that. He did really well. If you think Lee is calm, watch him on The Last Word after we've lost. Oh, I know. Yeah, he can go a bit, can Lee, but don't worry, he's had his tranquilizers. He's obviously known what this show's about.
I've said this before, Paul. I'm quite similar to you. I'm just no throttle. I'll go if I have to.
Listen, mate, I watched the rerun of your watch along, and you dropped the C-bomb yesterday.
Oh, yes.
That's how angry he was. He dropped the C-bomb.
Just a few times.
He's not this calm character. He can't lose it. Kevin says, Lee, too calm for this show. Probs had a full tube of Temazepam before 8 p.m. Well, exactly.
Well, guys, I mean, you talked about TalkSport that Laura Wood's dad is also a Newcastle fan, by the way. Right?
Cheers.
And Laura Woods, I mean, I can remember she did an interview with Craig Hope one year, right, about the situation in Newcastle and Steve Bruce. I mean, obviously, when he did that interview, I'll be with Craig Hope after we beat I think it was Southampton, I think. And basically, Steve Bruce tried to put Craig Hope in his place. There's no love between these two guys, But at the end, and that was fun. That was fun when Laura he went for Craig Hope, and Craig just put in a place as well.
Well, Steve Bruce does not like Guy. Steve Bruce doesn't like Craig Hope, does he?
No, definitely not. I love Laura Woods. I think she's brilliant.
He's my journalist. He's my journalist. My journal. He speaks the truth. He breaks the big ones as well, man. Do you know what I mean? That time when Bruce and Richie had a fight, and Richie called him a coward. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. I love Laura Woods, though. I think she's brilliant. I think she's going to go far. Same as Alex Scott. I think she's coming through. She's really good as well. MP7 says, Paul, are you wearing a Man United shirt? Are you fucking having a laugh? Buy your Leverkusen, mate. It's now to do with Man United. Jesus. And he says, did I mention City? Did I mention Toon City, Paul? I made a sensible comment and you bring up our shite team. And then goes on to say you're all hooligans. Well, thanks very much. Archie says, I believe Steve Bruce is in a pool while Joelinton spots Steve Bruce's foreskin and milky nipples squirting in the water. Wow. Beat says, notice John Swellners went down since Joelinton used his water pistol to great effect. Michael said, who hasn't scored for Leicester in a while? Probably be a good bet to score against us since we have a habit of doing that. Vardy hasn't scored.
Vardy.
Yeah. So, yeah, there we go. That's going to happen. Deep down, John really loves Joelinton. I meant to be deep in. Oh, wow. Was I the only one who had zero confidence in the game yesterday? Our record against them is shocking. Well, I actually thought we'd win yesterday. I think a lot of people did, but just because Arsenal have this big game coming up and they were going to drop a lot of people, which they did, but we couldn't even beat the reserves, which was shambolic. Kendo said, did you see the protesters had smashed the entrance at Old Trafford? Can't believe Sky Sports cancelled the game when John's destroyed Joelinton's back door all season. Form for Euros, where hey, Shelby England return. Wow, no chance. Do you think I'd be okay if I eat my neighbour's shoe? Have you ever done that? That's a very strange comment. Lee 40 said that the Geordies don't protest as well as Man United fans. Do you agree?
The organisation's not there. There's too many groups. I've said this before. They've all got the right intentions, but they should just become one. We don't protest well. We've seen that with the Arsenal game. There was meant to be 30,000 potentially, and there was still 45,000 still turned up. When they're good at that.
No.
What they should do if you're going to protest, I think you've just mentioned, do it all as one group.
Yeah, we need one.
One group all together, and then do a protest. You know, the last one I've been in, that's against Hull back in 2008 when Keegan resigned, and I was coming up in the Melbourne past there, and all hell kicked off that day, and I thought it was going to be horrible that day. I couldn't blame them. Couldn't blame them at all because.
Yeah. Were you at the front with your torch?
Definitely.
Wow.
Drill says, is the laptop on Joelinton's back, John? Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? Think we are going to win on Friday night against Leicester City? No, we don't. No. I'm not confident at all against Leicester. Quite frankly.
3-0.
We love John, says Truls. I got my Shelby shirt ready for tomorrow night's show. Well, David, you won't be coming on. As simple as that. John, simplify it, Joelinton. Oh, smiling is what he's meant to say. Get your spelling right, Annie. Archie says on the 17th, oh, we've seen that one. Give over, man. Oh. Kendo says, we love John. Dale says, John is class. Fuck the clowns that have hatred. Jonathan says, you lads are the best lads on here. Kendo says, just not his toilet. Andy says, we love you, John. Get naked. Kenneth says, spot on. This is obviously going back to what I said about the trolls. Kevin said, well said, Paul. John is a class act, as everyone you have on the show and all your streams. Paul, well said. Fucking tears in my eyes. Jail says, massive respect for John. We love you, John, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Guys, please.
Yeah, and he says, we've got Sinclair. Oof, that's the bit Joelinton sings, Super John Sinclair. Champions League again this week. Who do you fancy to go through to the final?
City,
I'm going with,
definitely.
I think City and the other ones. You reckon?
I think Man City against I did say Real Madrid, but
well, John, careful there, mate. Don't make your noises on this show, John.
Nah, honestly, I'll tell you what, I think it'll be all British final.
Wow, okay. I think it'd be interesting. I really think the Champions League has been fantastic this season. There's been some amazing games. Judy's back again. John's a hero. Who can forget the time he splooged on Chernobyl to stop the radiation escaping? Shurit made his eyes swollen, but he saved millions of Russians.
He's not allowed back.
John's not going back to the Magic Kingdom. Dale says, yeah, lads, big up Johnny's class, full of fun and banter. Kevin says, John, I'm going to buy a shirt when I'm up at the Toon next and have number 4 and your name on it. Love you, man. Tom says, hi, John. Are you doing a watch along for this week's Champions League?
I hope so. I mean, if I can get enough people, I hope so. So I'll probably do a Chelsea Real Madrid game. Or, man, so I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow.
Just keep an eye on his Twitter, guys. He'll let you know. Kendo says, John coming on the live stream with an allergic reaction like that was the bravest thing to do. Showed commitment to the show to still turn up and take a laugh. Of course it did. We don't have a bus to park. We have a Reliant Robin. Hey lads, and USA playing at home on Friday night. There is a game away. It's at the King Power, so we're in trouble. Dale says, exactly, Paul, we're all human. What does skin colour have to do with anything? It's the pedos and rapists that we should all target, not the colour of your skin. John's down to earth. He's class. And then Thomas says, on the final day of the season, after the game, Mrs. Bruce will invite everyone over for some cake. Joelinton asked for an entire cake with some chocolate icing from Bruce. Hendrik got sick when ... Oh, some bacon came out. Fair enough. Paul says Bruce won't play the younger lads because he's terrified of trying anything new. No vision, no ability to change things up in games. Yeah. Oh, God almighty. Paul, you do look a bit like Lee Charnley after a 4-day session. Andy, I'll hunt you down. Basil, tell me where you are. Don't ever associate me with Penfold, for God's sake. Irfan says, Paul looks like Mike Ashley as much as John looks like Chris Eubank. Well, he looked like him last week, to be fair.
Does that mean a lot then?
Hey, no. Kevin says, exactly, we can't defend. John, just have a go, man. Peter looks more like Mike Ashley, Paul. Paul, you look like the ice cream man who used to sell dodgy DVDs when I was a kid. Wow. Fair enough. I think Judy Hobbs is Chippers and Summers' name. That's a possibility. Yeah. Mrs. Bruce has crashed her car into a local sperm bank. Witnesses say there was a right commotion. Oh, God. The day Chippers and I get on a stream together, it'll get cancelled. Yeah, it won't be on my show. Kendo says, we can't even park the bus. The best thing is we've got Rodney Trotter's 3-wheel van filled with Joelinton blow-up dolls. God almighty. No, Judy, it would be the funniest show ever. Not for the presenter, it wouldn't. Can you imagine Chippers, right? Judy and someone else like Archer or someone like, who's just a disgrace. It would be mental. Which areas do we need to strengthen next season?
Everywhere.
right back, centre midfield, another winger, and a striker. Because if Wilson gets injured, we're fucked.
Yeah, that's if Wilson even hangs around. Judy says Joelinton said it was nice to see fans do a Mexican wave in support of the team. It was actually John whipping out his flesh missile and knocking the Gallagher out there.
It's a good one.
Tony said the Four Horsemen are conquest, war, famine, and death. On this show, who is who? Well, Lee, seeing as you're a guest, you can decide.
Ooh, I'll be war because I like a bit of war.
Fair enough.
Do you want me to pick the rest as well?
I'm right, I do, yeah.
All right. I don't think John's just death just yet. I'll give famine to Proudler, conquest to John, and death to Paul.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Right. Love you, mate. Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Judy says John is famine. He's hungry for Joe.
See, tell you.
And Annie thinks the comment about Rafa going shopping is tickled him. Judy, you need to step up to get this show funnier. Hey, less of the insults, Jules. I know you come on here all the time, and that's enough, young lad. If you're young, I don't know if you are. Judy, thank you very much for the super chat. That's immensely great. I'm immensely grateful for that. Thank you. Got to go to work now, but everyone, a tinny for me back in a few weeks. Oh, a few weeks. Wow.
Oh, Judy.
I know, a few weeks without Judy. Christ. The ticket sales from fans are a drop in the ocean now compared to TV money. That's the trouble in the Premier League. Ashley probably prefers it being played in empty stadiums. It wouldn't surprise me. Billy says both Cream and the Jam were going to reunite for gigs in Devon and Cornwall this year, but the venues couldn't agree about who should go on first. Very funny. Come on, lads. Away. Get with it.
It looks like you've just had a massive zoom in.
Who?
On your camera piece, it looks like you've zoomed in.
On Peter's?
No, on yours, Paul. I don't know.
That's just because I'm going like that.
Oh,
I'm swinging on me leather chair. Like, you know, I mean, John and Joelinton would love this chair because it's sticky as hell. Now, Derek goes on to say Spurs isn't a project. Matthew, Lee, what did you have for your tea tonight?
I had sides. I had boring chips and onion rings.
Wow.
Exciting stuff, eh?
Yeah, very. John was swinging on Joelinton while listening to see his chandelier. Okay. I can see Benitez ending up at Tottenham. I'm not so sure. We've got 5 minutes left of the show. We'll just rattle through some of these comments. Rio Ferdinand told the policeman who got injured by a flying bottle at Old Trafford, just buy a bodyguard. Fair enough. Lee, can I bulldoze your house for a laugh tomorrow and I'll rebuild it?
I'll probably make it better.
Jesus Christ.
Probably make it look better.
If Joelinton bends over and John is in the front, they would make a great demolition team. Would you go for Lookman on loan next season?
Yes.
We've you know, would he come? We've tried, haven't we? We tried to get him.
I'll take him again.
Yeah. You can have Arteta and we'll have ASM. No, Richard, I know you're trying to get ASM for a very, very stingy price, mate, but it's not going to happen. Seriously, if Steve Bruce was a Newcastle fan, as a man and boy, he would not have gone to Sunderland. Does anyone actually know for sure he was a Toon fan? Yeah, and also Joe Willock fell asleep watching the match yesterday. Yeah,
he did see the big massive yawn.
Yeah. Chris Hughton getting sacked not long after the 5-1 victory against the Mackhams. I never understood why. Would have him back now. Great guy. I'm not so sure I'd have Chris Hughton back, to be honest. I don't think he'd come back anyway.
Let me ask you that question again, Paul.
Is he better than Bruce? That's true.
There you go.
Fair enough. Billy says Bruce was out walking the dog yesterday when an old lady shouted, "Oi, you make sure you pick that shit up." Bruce replied, "All right, calm down. Give me a chance to wipe my ass first, will you?" Oh, dear me. Never mind a baby. A Newcastle game could put an 18-year-old to sleep mid-wank. Oh, dear. Yeah. Right, I'm going to rattle through these comments, just see what comes along. Take Andrew, good luck with the leg. Smash the like button harder than Millwall did Bristol City. Yeah, thank you very much. Would you bring Jetro back?
Yes.
I would have Willems back, yes.
Yeah, if he's fit.
Yeah, too much of a delay by Lee in the Cleveland Steamer question. Interesting. John, bet you can't wait for your eyes only to open so you can have a dance around the pool on stage.
I told you I put it on, man.
That's true. It's not. Jules says it's not Colgate, it's Cockgate. Oh, yeah. John, your teeth look like a horse's teeth. I'm not sure whether that's a compliment or not from Tom. I mean, you know, I would take it as a compliment, but you know, Tom doesn't normally fly in with the mean jokes. I got annoyed yesterday when Jamie Carragher doesn't say anything. Obtrex scientists are baffled how quick John's eyes have healed. We've not seen this swelling go down as fast since Bruce saw Joelinton giving his missus a Dutch rudder. Oh God!
I'll ask Carl for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Talk sport there. Barry's not live on stream tonight as the plumber is still ploughing through that blocked toilet. Yeah, we know where the toilet noise comes from now. That's definitely. Do you think Perez has been a failure at Leicester and would you take him back?
He has been a failure, and yes, I probably would take him back.
No, you're not playing the boost though. That's the thing, and also Leicester want their money back as well. So
yeah. John said Joelinton was too deep when he came on. He also said that was the case against Arsenal on Sunday. Joel says, big shout out to John as usual. He deserves it. Jonathan says, we love Lee. He is the best. Terry says, great show, guys. Keep it up. Jules, great show. Thanks, mate. Been a class show tonight, lads. Take care. Are you coming to the Sheffield United game, lads?
If we get picked.
Yeah, that's yeah, we've got to get picked first. Who knows? Who knows how they're going to do that? They'll probably fiddle that somehow.
Yeah, they'll say Lee Lawler and they'll say nope.
Yeah, exactly. They'll say my name and say definitely not. Lee's definitely not. That Sinclair's not coming in at all. And as for proud looking and bugger off, you know that they'll not have anybody off YouTube. I guarantee it. John Linton hung like a horse, and Bruce loves it. John is trying not to do a Champions League because he has a very special date with Joelinton. John took Joelinton to the sperm bank to get a new career. Joelinton got the job, but got fired 2 hours later for drinking on the job. I'm closer to 50 and I love this show. Thanks, Jules. You're a good one. Great show again, Paul. Had a great laugh. Thank you. Is Paul Lee Charnley without his glasses and let his hair grow? Funny, no one has seen Lee Charnley for a long time. Listen, I've already explained where Lee Charnley is. I'm 6'5". I'm nowhere near like Lee Charnley. Thank you very much. Lee Charnley was hired by NASA to go and drive that rover around Mars because he's small enough to do it. That's where Lee Charnley is, right? Certainly nothing to do with me. Peter's been quiet tonight. Give him famine. He looks like he's like me. Nicked all of Steve Bruce's pork pies. P.S. Forgot to mention it. Fucking Static Man. Peter's got leather chair at I really don't get that.
T-shirt?
Metallica?
No.
I'm not sure.
No idea.
Yeah, there's Metallica.
Yeah. There's no sexual tension between John and Lee. John, you should watch his Manscaped promos. You drink his bathwater. I know. I want to, Lee. I need to get you on this because obviously, NFTV have got a sponsorship with Manscaped. So, how much do you get? 20%? Is it?
No, we get paid. We get paid for it.
No, I mean, what do the fans get when they go on and quoting the code NFTV?
I know what's coming here. Yeah, they get 20% off and free shipping.
Right. You don't know. I'm actually being just when I watch your channel, right, and you do these Manscaped adverts, I keep thinking of it takes me back to the Cadbury's Flake and the Timothy adverts. Your voice goes all soft and it's like a promo
I tell you what, me and Sam have good fun making those ads because
I can imagine.
We're little 12-year-old giggling away, and there's so much stuff that has to get edited out so it looks clean, sounds clean. But it's
not the easiest sponsor advert to do, is it? Really, when you're trying to do
your balls. Oh yeah, you've got to keep them clean, man. Come on, keep them balls clean.
So if you want to know about Manscaped, just watch Lee's watch NFTV. Watch Lee do he turns into just this smooth guy like he's promoting Pornhub, and it's
might get John on next.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That would be absolutely hilarious. That's got to be made. Every time you win, you always use all the excuses not to give Bruce a little bit of credit. Give our. This show is the best I've ever seen on YouTube. Craziest show. It is definitely one of the craziest. But we all Peter does good shows. NFTV is fantastic. It always has been. And John does great streams. John does about 5,000 streams a week, guys. So, if you ever come onto YouTube, John will always be doing a live stream. Right, we'll finish up in a sec. We've just slightly gone over. I think a protest should be organised by all the Newcastle United YouTube channels. We may get a proper traction then. Who knows? Thomas says, thanks, Lee, Paul, John, and Peter. Good night. Stay safe, matey. John, do you know? There's one.
Like you.
Come on, John.
Right, literally. Never heard of him. Never.
John, seriously, just read it. Just say it out loud.
I just read it. Do you know Mike Nicholas?
Right?
Say it again.
It's a made-up name, John. Come on.
Oh, no. I'll do the next one, man.
My clitoris.
Yeah. Ian says, great show tonight. The four of you have been brilliant. Thank you, mate. Cheers, lads. Great show, Lee Charnley. You cheeky Kendo sod off. I'm not having that. I'm not having Lee Charnley as a lookalike with me. That just isn't. That's just not normal. Who do you think will win the championship playoffs? I think Barnsley.
I hope Barnsley come up because it's a short away day.
It is. I hate the ground though. I hate Oakland.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. Great show, everyone. Thank you very much. Another great show tonight, lads. Enjoy the rest of your week. Getting my second COVID jab tomorrow. And it's my birthday on Thursday. Yeah, I'm getting my second jab next Monday. And if I'm as bad as I was last time, God help us. But hopefully the second one won't be as bad. Paul, your new name is Lee Charnley. Thomas, screw you, mate. Billy says, great show, lads. Dave says, another great show, lads. Great to see Leon. Great fun as ever. Dave, love to the wife, mate, and get yourself on the fan forum show tomorrow night. Peter has a green leather sofa at his static car. He's a caravaner. No way. Yes, he is a caravaner. 20% of free shipping, cheapskates. I think he deserves a bit of credit. Sometimes he doesn't. Thomas says, my balls will thank me. Yes, that's a classic line from Lee. That is, Lee, do you want to give us a blast? Just that line in your smooth tone.
Your balls will thank you.
Yes. There you go. You've sent everyone will remember that when they fall asleep tonight, Lee.
Don't think of my balls when you fall asleep, mate. Think of John's.
Manscaped, essential for all Dutch rudder athletes. I think Bruce Ball is better than Arteta Ball. I'm not quite sure about that. Great show, lad. Peters and Paul's shows are class, but this is the best. Cracking show as always. Longley Charney. I've typed in Rainbow Kiss, and the first thing that came to mind was Joelinton in the toilet. No, please don't. Please don't. Please really don't. No. Right. That is the end of the Four Horsemen of the Toon Show for yet another week. It's been a blast. Lee, thank you so much for coming on, mate. You've been brilliant, as I thought you would be. And good luck with NFTV and continue the fantastic work you're doing there, because it really is brilliant. I know me and John do live stuff as well, during the game, but I do always go back and watch certainly the fan forums and the last word, and that it's really brilliant what you do. So keep up the fab work, mate, and I hope be on the channel someday soon. But thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, mate. Peter, thanks again.
No problem.
John, thank you. We'll let you get back to your normal Monday night business. So just coming up, what's on this channel tomorrow night? We have the fan forum live with me and Jade. Should be a very interesting one. So come on, link in the live comments as normal to come and join me and Jade on the show. On Thursday night, we've got the press conference reaction with me and Jade again, and we'll have Chris from Leicester Till I Die TV joining us for that one to preview the game. And then at 10 o'clock on Friday night, straight after the game, we've got match reaction live with me and Jade. So as usual, join us in the live comments for that. Because it may be an angry one, because I can't see us getting anything out of that game. And if we turn up like we did against Arsenal, I will be foaming. But we'll give you one last look at Joelinton's new tattoo. So we love the Joe. Look how soft Joelinton's eyes look. Honestly, he just
look how soft John's look.
Well, John's not soft behind Joelinton. I put it that way. You talk about Dutch rudders. God help Joelinton when that photo's been taken. But thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Four Horsemen. We've loved it as usual. And good night from us all. This is the Toon Review.